life Wakanda. Good everywhere we go, little sanctuaries, hotel Rwanda.
Hey, my familia is the 12. Hey, my familia is the 12. Hey, my familia is the 12. My familia is the 12.
I got family across the water, different fringes, same borders. When we get across them borders, I know fathers, I know mothers, I know sons, I know daughters. Give them light to my fam, just to get them back in order. Cause the nations got us mixed. Damn, you can taste the brothel, give the word, they like bravo. Christ the King, you should follow. Scriptures hit you like a hollow. Nations treat us like a barcode, cause our skin is dark as charcoal. They once moved us on cargo, but now we travel like stars go.
I got fam in Dominica, I got fam in Puerto Rico, I got fam in Jamaica, I got fam in Grenada, I got fam in Uganda. We the real life Wakanda. Good everywhere we go, little sanctuaries, hotel Rwanda.
Hey, my familia is the 12. Hey, my familia is the 12. Hey, my familia is the 12. My familia is the 12.
We are the truth in the end, but we just getting started. We got to move, I got a fear of feeling stagnant. We in our groove, moving through the city like, they can't stand it. Yeah, we are the truth in the end, but we just getting started. We got to move, I got a fear of feeling stagnant. We in our groove, moving through the city like, they can't stand it. We the ones who gon' save the world. We the ones who gon' break the mold. Tryna get across what we worth. Merciful when he flooded the earth. Promise to never do it again. Bows in the clouds is bending in the wind. But the liners, I ain't gon' raise hell. Iron sharp iron, but it rains still. Brothers out here getting boot box when they wanna drop 250 on the shoebox. Not tryna come off a soapbox, but so much grind we get backed up. And they got us like, why the heathen be pressing us so much? Why the heathen be oppressing us so much? Know when they go down, then we going up. Truth raining down like we broke the sky though. Have them watered up like I name Apollos. But Jacob getting caught up in the same things. Cause all they recollect is gang, gang. We tryna grow up like the cream of the crop. And the blood touching blood like a strip on the plot. Y'all heard of imagination, but it's mixing up like a culmination of proverb. We are the truth in the end, but we just getting started. We got to move, I got a fear of feeling stagnant. We in our groove, moving through the city like, they can't stand it. Yeah, we are the truth in the end, but we just getting started. We got to move, I got a fear of feeling stagnant. We in our groove, moving through the city like, they can't stand it.
Vendredi, c'est jour qui n'a stressé. Samedi, rivé, c'est jour pour nous reposer. Bon Dieu, il va nous 6 jours. Si vous avez, c'est pour nous travailler. Mais dans le 7e jour, c'est le jour de repos. Nous pas supposé travailler du tout. Les fatigues. Samedi, c'est pour nous tous réunis. Peuple Israël est distribué. pas jamais stop. Nous pas jamais stop. Nous pas jamais stop. Puis nous relax, c'est un moment pour nous toute la glorifier. Les glorieux et le merveilleux. Pas qu'un autre qui dépasse jour ça yo. Chaque jour fête, c'est un jour saint. Nous pas fêter idolâtrie. Nous fêter ça qui dans la Bible. C'est ça que nous tous besoin.
Leave it all. It's time to celebrate our feast days. Leave it all. It's time to celebrate our feast days. My feast day, your feast days, these holy days. We gotta stay focused, be separate. Let's dance like never before. Let's dance like never before. One body, one mind, no strife. Our King, our Lord is Christ.
C'est yon merveille, les nous tous unis ensemble. Retirer stress, les nous mettre bon Dieu des fans. C'est ça l'amen, les nous tous obéissants. Nous pas qu'à occuper, ça le monde dit. Les gars nous jamais quitté, pas voilà type. Nous gagnons 52, ça va, ça yo normal. Nous gagnons volume, nous gagnons délivrance, nous gagnons fête, pain sans les vins. Wap jouer tout dans les victimes, excepté fait des petites tasks. Et wap jouer dans Maccabees, qui dans le livre à beaucoup pas. Histoire de mettre l'engrais courir. On célébrer, on célébrer, on célébrer, on célébrer, on fraternité.
Leave it all. It's time to celebrate our feast days. Leave it all. It's time to celebrate our feast days. My feast day, your feast days, these holy days. We gotta stay focused, be separate. Let's dance like never before. Let's dance like never before.
Yeah, creativity levels low. Or maybe I just feel low and that's an excuse for me not to create. I feel selfish at times. I get tangled in my issues and forget that outside a whole nation is dying. It seems I got a lot to say when I talk to myself. I guess confession is harder when someone trying to help. Getting lessons from Deacon spiritual therapy treatment. You way too hard on yourself, he told me he could see it. Realize boxing these feelings is showing signs of weakness. Them thoughts will try to maintain space, show no obedience. The carnal man throw tantrums when I go file a grievance. The dialogue in my mind, man, you wouldn't believe it. I die daily, but sometimes the old man be reviving. Maybe the lust and temptations was causing marriage problems. You neglect your possession instead of showing love. And then just tell her I've been trying to get my scriptures up. That ain't my struggle, but then I wonder what if it was. I put these things in my music to show that it occurs. This that newfound gospel, not that prosper from tithing. Men with issues, women who need a guy who can solve them. Pray you perform when it's just you and you hear silence knocking. It's hard to be in discipline when your peers isn't watching. This for Judah and Ephraim, man, this is 12 inclusive. This is for when I feel down in these spiritual music. They screaming, oh, don't preach to them. But who gon' lead the revolution? Kids is dying, sighing, ain't good enough, I'm obligated. You too stuck in your ways to bring participation. Tell me this isn't heaven. Tell me it's opportunity. Tell me we ain't imputed. And tell me we know unity. Tell me we God's choosing. Tell me we God's chosen. Apologize for the hiccup. But God, this ain't the first time I lost my words when you picked up. God, this isn't the first time I lost my words when you picked up. Yeah.
No one's going unless the Father's willing it. And I'm just trying hard not to get purged out in the wilderness for real. I don't want to be seen as unprofitable. No.
Father, Son, Christ, bless. Thank the Lord for success. Covered in blood, ain't gotta wear a vest. Raised in the West, where every day is a test. Claim the wrong set, they leave your body a mess. Really though, I done made it from the bottom to the top. Praise the Lord, your boy never stopped. Doctrine get mop, boop bop, kick around the place. Playing games and talking about some grace. I'ma bring it to your face, defended, trying to cover another race. Best believe no Edomite is safe when Christ hit this place. Only coming for Cedar Jake. Other nations prepare to see you wake. Eternal life is stake. So I study, pray, apply. Killing my demons, call it homicide. I've been bona fide to prophesy. Call me certified, attacking evil against the sinner side. Look at how I ride, watch how I roll with it. I be all in, but I never saw my soul in it. I'ma put my soul in it. From the cradle to the grave, born again, returning as a babe. Living in this maze, my people, they full of rage. Living in the days like sentence, lock us in cage. Really though, found the Lord when situation was funky. Held my own ground in trials when time was funky. Glory to the Father, put real ones all around me. Threw me life jackets, helped me keep from drowning. Down on my luck, G.O.D., that's where I found him. Never hit the pen, only did a bit in the county. Glory to the Lord, I escaped from all the madness. Cause Lord only knows how Lil J was a savage. Glory to the Lord, I escaped from all the madness. Cause Lord only knows how Little J was a savage. Thank you.
I want freedom. That's free from Edom. And I got so many reasons. All my people need freedom. All my people need freedom.
Your show is scheduled to start in 37 seconds.
Jerusalem. Trials in my life, I ain't new to them. New man come to life, they ain't used to him, and that's ground talk. Say it with me, all I want is a crown now. Walking to the gates tonight, got everything I want. And all the heathen mad cause they don't America. KKK is a joke, 2 cuts to the throat. This is my faith and my hope, you can keep the Christian code. Then stop doing dope, just let me sing my new song.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's that time again, yeah, ya la hora, you know, power hour, Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching Everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit, yeah, that mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. It's one interpretation, man, it's say what it say. Ya viene el tiempo, entra para el templo. Aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida, nunca se divida. Tune in, it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah, tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn, it's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history, you know it ain't no history.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus. I'm Deacon Yashua.
I'm Officer Shia.
Officer Tobias.
Oh, we back. Officer Shia's back.
That's
I'm
right.
here. His tummy don't hurt this week.
My tummy.
His tummy hurt.
That's what my daughter tells me. My tummy hurt. And that's what I was telling my wife.
You
last
need
night.
Jesus Christ.
Tummy hurt.
His tummy was hurting.
Tummy.
So he wasn't here last week
Shout out
because
to
he went fonduing, but he fondunted.
Yep.
Hey, you want to give a shout out to the melting pot date night spot?
Shout out to the melting pot. It was a heavy pocket afterwards. It was good, bro. I enjoyed every single thing I had. Like I was like,
the melting pot is dope, bro. So wait, I'm gonna tell you my story with the. I mean, I
so
think
you
I've told
have
you before.
gone.
I've gone. I told you I've gone. It's not.
oh
new
wait,
to me.
but not here, right?
Listen, I'm sophisticated. Okay.
You are sophisticated.
I'm sophisticated.
We are learning
I'm a
from you.
sophisticated Ephraimite from the Bronx, New York. All right.
Pinkies
I wasn't always. All right. I grew up with we spoke about no frills on the show. I grew up in the no frills. I started packing bags when I was 8 to make money, delivering newspapers when I was 12. I remember I couldn't get into some buildings. There used to be a little awning on the top of the lobby because the buildings and the projects, they all had these code, like it was supposed to be for safety. Yeah.
Right.
And, if I didn't deliver my papers, I didn't get paid for my route. So I would take my paper bag, I would climb up on the fence, and I'm short. So, if you're tall,
right,
this is not a big deal for you guys.
Yeah.
And I used to hop up with my paper bag, throw that thing up on the little balcony, pull myself up, climb through the window on the second floor if I couldn't get in the building so I could deliver my papers.
Hey.
I remember one time I had the flu. And I was trying to take off, and the freaking prick was like, you better get it in. Like his name was Bob. He was a red, hairy Edomite, Bob. I'll never forget him. Bob. Typical name, too. And, man, I remember I slammed some Theraflu, and I went and I did my paper route in the dead of winter.
Right.
And there was a few buildings I had to climb up and do that stuff and everything like that. But I always hustle, man. I didn't have a lazy bone in my body, man. Don't get me wrong. Not as much now. I used to suffer from procrastination a lot, but it wasn't from laziness.
Right.
It's just I would prefer to do other things, know. So, because some people are just lazy, like they don't want to move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get a little stir crazy after.
Yeah.
Like when I'm sick. Like the first day, it's like, oh, great, because life slows down. I get to chill.
Yeah.
But by the end of that first day, man, like I'm antsy. Like
do something.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And especially like, I know I'm not like bodybuilder big and stuff, but I'm in the gym like consistently. Like it's a lifestyle for me. I don't do it because like I enjoy it. Like, like I look forward to, like I don't feel good if I don't go. So, which means sometimes even depending on how sick I am, I push through and I'll go and I'll do, it might not be the best workout, but
Seen you in the air.
Yeah, I try to get it in and stuff like that. So
I get notifications on my Apple Watch. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so melting pot.
Oh, that's right, melting pot. See, forgot we were talking.
We went out. We went this is when we went to visit Sacramento. It was me, and Mariah. I had Captain Benaya, Officer Shem. And there was a few other brothers. Oh, man, I always forget his name. He's going to be so mad. Brother been around so long. Older brother that does IT in SAC. You know him. Yediah. I always forget his name. Yediah. So, we were looking. And Mariah's thing when we would travel was he would look at restaurants and send me the list.
Yes.
Right? And he would send me the list of restaurants. Because I like to, I want to say I'm... like there's some people who say, I'm a wine connoisseur. I'm not. I like different wines. I guess I'm a foodie, I like to try. Because you know why I don't want to say I'm a foodie? Because you got people like Soldier Ezekiel here in Arizona who thinks he's a foodie. And he's from Arkansas, and that's not a foodie place.
Right.
No. I'm a foodie. I'm from New York.
Yes, you are.
All right? New York City, not Buffalo.
I have.
Or upstate or Utica. All right? So, I always tell people, you don't got to travel the world to eat the world's cuisine. Just go to New York City.
That's facts.
Just go to New York City.
It's like block by block.
But literally, in some places, it's block by block.
Right.
Like
it's
a lot of Jews. A lot of the real Jews too, over there in New York City. So like I'll pick stuff, whatever, and I was like, all right, let's go to the melting pot. I have never tried fondue, right? I'm like, I'm a foodie. I've never tried fondue. I mean, I've had dessert fondue. So I don't know if you don't know what fondue is. For some people who don't know what fondue is.
I've had dessert fondue.
I think it's French, right? Fondue is French, I believe. I could be wrong.
Sounds like cheese.
And traditionally, when you think of fondue, most of us who have been exposed to it, it's like a chocolate fountain.
Yes.
Okay.
With melted chocolate, and you dip stuff in it and you eat. It's usually done in a dessert fashion.
Yes. Right.
But you can do cheese fondue, and in this particular place, it's different broths.
Yes.
So you basically kind of boil the food.
Right.
But what makes it fondue is it's a seasoned broth, and it's done at the table, right? Okay, yeah. He has some pictures there looking it up. Put the one with the breads and the cheese where it says Montana Happy.
That's
That looks
what I was
good.
thinking of.
That looks good. It's kind of like that because you get little forks like that.
Right.
And they do have a cheese one as an appetizer. That's a cheese fondue. So usually it's either chocolate or cheese.
It's so the one I had was it starts with cheese, then you get a salad,
Yeah.
then
yeah,
you get your meats.
Well, that's it. So they do like a prefix menu.
Yes.
And when I went, it was 2 options. They had one that had like a little extra entrees and then one without.
Mhm.
Anyway, so the whole dinner is fondue style. So you got to plan a lot of time because it's done in courses and
Yes.
Here's what I think. There's obviously something about breaking bread. Even the scriptures tell you about it. And I don't mean breaking bread like Corinthians 11. I mean sharing a meal together.
Yes.
Right? There's something about that.
Yeah,
like,
it's like a building.
whenever visitors would come in, right, or
Right,
people
right.
would sit down, let's get them a meal, let's get them this, so on and so forth. So there's something about breaking bread that you bond over a meal with somebody, right, in general. So what happens is the fondue experience kind of fosters that, in my opinion. Okay. So this is why I say it's great for a date night if you want to go, because it's not just bring meals or whatever, because there's waiting in between. And, some people might be like, damn, you're going to pay to cook your food. So you order your entrees, right? And, this particular place has starters, so you could get a selection of breads and veggies with different type of starter fondues, some cheese or whatever else, and you dip that. You can get a salad as well. Then you get the main course. You pick a certain amount of meats, and you get to pick certain fondues. So you pick certain broths to cook the meats in.
Right.
They bring the meats raw, and you go piece by piece. This is the other thing. It's such a
It's like a process.
It's such a refined way to eat,
Right.
because you're not shoveling food in your mouth. You have to wait between bites and things like that.
Right.
So this is why I say it stimulates conversation, and you're kind of more aware of what you're eating and things like that. So you're sitting there, you dip into fondue, whatever, right? And then they bring you dessert fondue if you select that option, and they'll bring like different types of chocolates or whatever melted.
That was the black and the white chocolate. That was
Yeah, and they'll bring
yin-yang.
and you'll get fruits and maybe some pieces of little breads or cakes that go with it, and you dip it and all of that.
They said they said the seasonal they gave us we got seasonal cheesecake, bro. That thing was from Sam's Club. The little we were laughing over it, like, yo, this is just good, but this is not
He
seasonal.
said you can't be lactose intolerant. Well, you wouldn't get the cheese stuff then. They have other options. But anyway, long story short, the reason I'm saying he fondunted instead of fondued.
Yes, I did.
And it's actually spelled FONDUE, but this is the joke that we came up with.
Yes,
we
I
had
did.
went with the brothers, and they didn't have a table large enough for us, so they set us at 2 different tables. Captain Zakai was there too, and they was all like, Zakai's like from Brooklyn,
Right.
Brooklyn, the streets, Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Benai and Shem's a little rugged too, so they was like, yo, I was captain at the time, yo, where's Cap taking us, man? What the hell is this? You know what I'm saying?
right.
And for the sake of time, I can't tell you all the stuff. There was like a funny joke with a drink. We got the waiter. Long story short, we went there.
that
There's an option on the fondue thing where one of the things is, instead of getting like an extra thing of fondue, they'll bring you like a hot plate, like that you turn on with a cast iron skillet, and you can grill the meats instead of fonduing it.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you go to a fondue place
That was
to
me.
then have to grill your damn meats.
Right.
So the wild thing is that we were at one table and we're having a blast. You ask Captain Benaya, you ask Captain Zakai, you ask Officer Shem, or if you see MRI, you ask them. Bro, they'll tell you to this day that was the most fun. That has to be the most fun, most dope dinner we've ever done. The most dynamic meal I think I've ever had.
That's funny.
Because we had a blast, bro. We were there for like, I think 3 hours, no lie, bro. We had a freaking blast. But then we're cracking up. We're going in. They was like, they went for it. They were like, wow, this is dope, whatever. We having a great time, fellowshipping after the visit and all that stuff like that. We look at the other table and they quiet. And they looking at us like we crazy. They sad, they crazy. They ordered the grill. Bro, we started cracking jokes under them. They changed their order. They wanted to order the way that we had it because they were like, what are they doing over there? So we were like, they fondunting. They not doing it right.
Right.
And we doing it the right way. Bro, You have to you got to experience it. So it's a romantic setting. If you want to do a date night, the officer went with his wife.
Yeah.
We're actually trying to get us to go do a date night over there.
I haven't called it.
Not cheap.
On me.
Probably about $45-$50 a head, right?
Like a steakhouse.
It was more. They charged more
for couples. It was $140 for the
No,
dinner.
but you did drinks and stuff too, right?
I did drink. Yeah, I did the whole course.
But,
I did the
but I remember when
course.
we went in California, it was like maybe 55, but it was prefix. You get all the courses for 55 per person. So I'm figuring it's probably within range like that, right? That'd be 110. You said you spent about 140. Yeah,
it's like a steakhouse.
Yeah, moderate steakhouse.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to like a Morton's or something, it's more than that. Like one steak's like $100.
Right.
Yeah.
He ain't married yet, so he don't know how much.
Yeah, he don't know about that.
No,
He don't know about that.
Steakhouses ain't cheap.
No, and stuff's way more expensive now. But anyway, if you can, it's a nice experience.
Yeah, it's cool.
The reason I brought that up is because the officer fondonted. He sends a message in the morning. Oh man, I don't feel good. I don't know if I'm gonna do the show. This last week.
Tummy
I don't know if I'm
hurt.
gonna do the show. My tummy hurts.
It's tummy hurt.
I ate so much cheese fondue.
No.
He needs some milk.
No, it was too much milk that got him that way. Hey, if you watched last week's show, I'm gonna tell you, the producer's an enabler. It's not me, y'all. I just use the tools. I just use the tools that's provided to me. If you saw the clip, why don't we show the clip again for the people that didn't watch last week, so I can show them the prop. Can you pull that video up? I'm gonna show them we have a new prop for the show. I might incorporate it into some classes when I talk about brothers needing to man up. All right. Well, you getting the clip ready? You looking for it?
Yes, sir. He's looking for it.
You looking for the clip? All right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, bro. I never been to fondue like that before. So
it's dope. It's dope. And it's nice to go. Like if you wanted to go on a date, I would imagine. I didn't. I just went. But you could go with the brothers, and it's a nice time.
It was really
It's
good.
a nice time.
I enjoyed every bite. I enjoyed the company with my wife.
It's
It
a
was
nice
really
time.
good. Yo, I didn't know. We were like, can I get my stuff well done? She's like,
you cook it.
I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
like, she's like, you actually cook it.
Yeah, you put it in there, and they tell
That's
you.
how
I
new
think
I was.
did they give you recommended times? How long to put it
Yes.
in there for what you want? Yeah.
Well, they actually have a QR code. You scan it, takes you to a website.
Oh,
and
okay.
then
So
it
they're a
gives
little
you
more high tech. That's
timer.
probably because we went pre-COVID, so that's like a post-COVID thing with the QR code.
And it has a timer, so it
Yeah.
tells you, okay, chicken, timer, boom.
Right. Yo, and Benaya's like, he don't ever seem like he real excitable. So you'll talk to him about it, and like he'll just give you like this smile and be like, yeah, that was a fun time, man. That thing was so dope. and that means he was very excited.
Right.
That means he had a great time. If you know Cat Benaya. But
You find it?
That was funny.
He trying to find it in the chat.
Which one was it? What did it say?
Yeah, stuff like that's pretty cool. I like it better than Korean barbecue. Because I feel like the grill gets sticky sometimes. You ever done Korean barbecue?
Never.
They got a little grill in the middle. So similar type of thing. You cook the food while you're there. So instead of broths, you use the grill. Excellent. It's very good. It's very tasty.
But you go in there and you have to cook it like that's.
Yeah, but I mean, they give you premium meats. It's
Right.
like premium stuff, and like you kind of cook it. I mean, there's something about it though. It's that slow down. I mean, I look at it like if you out in the wilderness and you
Right.
killed something and you got to sit over the fire and wait while it cooks.
Okay.
It's kind of that type of vibe, you
Right.
know. But you're indoors in a restaurant and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know.
More the experience.
Yeah.
It was very good to have like conversation with.
Oh, that's right. Y'all had the Royalty Duo concert. Oh, I imagine it's good. Everybody loves them. That's some righteous love songs right there. All right, go ahead. So I want to talk to you about the props before we jump into the show, right? Good. But if you didn't watch last week, I'm gonna show you what the props are. All right. You still got the fondue on the screen. What's going on here? Oh, I'm behind.
Yeah, you're not live. You're not live.
I'm not live. Go live, bro. Go live. Go live.
Let's go. Stop
It's
it.
too low, bro.
Can't
Come on.
hear nothing.
Turn it up.
I love you, man. I love you too much. You know, you have no marbles. Marbles? Marbles! You have no marbles!
That's my new thing for brothers. You got no marbles. What the hell's wrong with you? Is this the same clip where they show them on the field? You got to show them on the field
It's a whole nother
when everybody
clip.
gets into it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. All right. So you're setting it up. Do you got the other one ready?
Yeah.
So he tells him he's no marbles. Wait. So he realizes it's no cojones, right? meaning he ain't got no balls.
He said huevos.
He said huevos. Yeah, he said huevos. Right. So here's the prop. This is your soldier, producer in the booth,
Othniel.
that went and got me this. So
Enabler.
go ahead.
Bully.
From the stretch, he's ready. Fires.
That's some quickness.
So, 2 straight heaters and
Sounds
Serrano's
low.
down to his last strike.
Turn up channel 9.
On you guys.
Serrano back in the box.
The last pitch, man. That was beautiful.
Busick has his sign and comes set. Here's the pitch to Serrano. He swings and drives from the deep left center. Way back. Going. Gone. Delivered it.
Yes. Not as beautiful as that, though.
Anyway, so we use that in reference of brothers who need to gird up their loins.
Right.
Right. We were talking about brothers need to man up. It's wartime. They're not fit for the battle. So, Soldier Othaniel.
No, Soldier David.
Yeah,
Wow. Soldier David.
Soldier David is the real enabler.
My man was so enamored with that we got our marbles. So whenever we talk about these brothers that got a man up, we gonna shake the marbles, all right? Just so you can get some extra sensation from the marbles.
Don't be vexed, brothers. If you get the
Don't be
marbles.
vexed. Don't be vexed, all right? Don't be vexed. You see what it did for Serrano? He hit a home run.
Right.
Hey.
Don't be vexed with the marbles. Oh, man. Brother brought it up to me on, was it Sabbath? I said, oh, my goodness. I said, you going to get me in trouble. People going to hate me, bro, with the marbles. That's it.
It's like that class you did with the scepter. You know.
I don't know where my scepter is. I was looking for it.
Side. It's
I was looking for it. I left it under my table. That's right. Remember? Damn, you remember that? I think I did that in 19th. Yep. With the scepter. That's right.
It's on the side over there by the instruments that never get played. Officer Nehemiah, so shout out to you.
Marbles.
Hey, he's been using them, yo. Sabbath, he started getting on us. Hey, bro. That's all he was doing. Sabbath.
That's it. That's
last night.
On the marbles.
Hey, last night he was, hey, bro. You good? You good? You're in your emotions? All right, bro.
That's it. Hey, it was working too. Brothers was manning up when the marbles came out.
Facts.
They gave the face, but when the marbles came out. Anyway, let's jump in. Let's jump in. All praises. We coming off of keeping the new moon. It was great last night. I realized nobody was drinking or nothing. Like we was just
focused in the spirit.
Yeah, we just
were
came
going
in. Yeah, man. It reminded me of back in New York, man. That's how we would roll back in the day. Yeah. We'll go up to the table. So it was me on the other side.
Right.
I'm up there. You know, brothers had questions. We bringing out precepts and stuff like that.
We stayed up there the whole night.
I think it only stopped because the performances came out. I think we probably would have been there a little longer too. Yeah, we was going in. It was dope. All praises for the godly discourse. That was great. All praises to the Most High. You know, it's not always dancing and singing and stuff. You know.
No.
I don't know. Bishop was getting in on the brother that said, you take too long. We want to dance and sing. See, that's why I tell you about these party schools.
Right.
Then you got brothers and sisters be like, why can't our school be more like that? You want to be Greenleaf?
Hell no.
Anyway, so before you do that one, wait, no, let's do this one first. No, because this one's a little more serious. So do the other one first. So tonight's topic, this might be the last because I got to move on, I think, to the manning up. We're going to go back to the hard times create strong men and weak men create
hard times.
So before we move back to that, I wanna go over a little more things with this marriage topic. No, not that one. We'll do that one after the one with the dude and the marriage. Yeah, right. So I was looking at some stuff and I said, all right, the part that we kind of went through fast was the masculine feminine, right? Because we had done that fast towards the end of a show. And then the characteristics of difficult people, we wanted to spend a little more time on that, right? So we want to give you a little more detailed things, right? Or hacks or pointers that you can look at when you're looking at flags and people, right? But let me tell you, a lot of it's going to circle back to you as an individual. We're going to teach you how to identify things in certain people, certain things, not all things, all right? But you need to build yourself to be able to hone and increase the volume on that spiritual voice that's going to allow you to not convince yourself to be in some bad situations in the proving process and moving forward into a marriage that's going to wind up being filled with all types of issues that if you'd have just turned up the volume, honed that skills a little bit on yourself, you'd have been able to identify some things that you could have walked away from prior to taking those. Because once you're in that marriage, you got to make that work.
Right.
And it's not to say that it can't, but it's not going to be what it could have been had you done the right steps properly. Let's make that clear. So, I don't want to say we're tired of it. It's always going to be something that we have to deal with. It's by design. We were talking last week how, Satan's attached marriage first, and that's what he's always going to do, especially when it comes to Israel.
Right.
And a lot of that can be mitigated if you've built yourself up to where you need to be. A lot of times we talk about, you got to love yourself. And people think loves themselves is, I look good in the mirror. I love myself. I look like this. I look like that. This is why I dress this way. This is why I do my makeup and I get my hair did and my nails did and all this other stuff. That's just one aspect of loving yourself. What about everything else?
Right.
You should love yourself so much that you don't even take it personal if somebody decides to walk away from you. Right? And I don't know if I have that one. I'll look for it and I'll send it to you. It's this British guy that he says something. I like the words that he used in it. But basically have the confidence within yourself that and I'm not talking about that you are difficult, because there's extremes. Like I said, there's always outliers. You could be a difficult dragon. You could be a simp, pain in the behind, and have this delusion of grandeur and say, oh, well, they walked away from me because they couldn't handle me. No, we ain't talking about that.
Right.
But we're talking about knowing your worth, having enough confidence in yourself that you're not broken down thinking, oh, they did this to me.
Right. You don't take it personal.
You don't take it I know it's hard to say. It is a personal thing that's happened to you. But if they decide to walk away from you and you're confident in your worth and you love yourself enough, then you know it was really them, not you. It's not a flaw in you.
That's the scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
Going into the scarcity.
Little bit. So anyway, we're going to start with a little funny, though. So we always talk about, because let me tell you, I see brothers, remember I was saying on the little chat when they ask for a wife, and I said this in the class, they say I want a submissive wife. That's a prerequisite, all right? That's in the scriptures. That's what the scriptures say, right? And you'll pray for a submissive wife. But if you're not specific in what you mean by submission, this is what you're going to get. Come on.
When I asked the Lord for a wife, I asked him to give me one that would submit to her husband. He gave me one. She submits Kohl's receipts, Target's receipts, Amazon receipts. She submits complaints also. So guys, when you pray to the Lord, be sure to be specific in your prayer.
There's another one too.
She submits complaints as well.
He said, I pray to God for a submissive wife. She submits Kohl's receipts, all types of receipts, complaints too. He said, be specific when you pray to the Lord when you want a submissive wife.
Right.
My goodness. What's the other one? What's the other funny one? Oh goodness. All right, this is just a little humor here. This is a little humor.
New York.
I'm gonna get on New York for a little bit. All right, go ahead, just play it.
Wait, what's going on?
So the title is When She Tries to Seduce You, but She's from New York. Oh my goodness. Come on, get the volume right.
You said Ruby?
Get the volume right.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, come on, man. Go
Strike
back.
one.
Go back. Go back to the chat and bring it back up. Maybe it's not working right from there.
Well, strike one.
Like just reopen it. Oh my gosh, here we go. Well, they did the marbles, so we got to give them that. The marbles work well.
Brothers and sisters, don't forget, call in 516-531-9797. 516-531-9797. It's been a while since anybody called.
Just get the link from the chat again. Maybe it expired in the thing. Why are you trying to do something backwards?
Don't forget the Booster Club.
You need marbles.
I'm trying to buy some time for the IT here.
Yeah, go ahead. Try to buy them some time.
IUIC fundraising at IsraelUnite.org. Brothers and sisters, remember that your donations are a big help for the nation of Israel, the leadership that travels. All right, y'all see what they did in Haiti. All praise to the Most High. We
All
ready?
right.
We good?
Let's see if it plays.
Make sure we got audio.
New York sisters. Look at her face. Look at what she doing. She said, yo. Oh, snap. Oh, my goodness. But brothers always getting on New York. They said these sisters is rough, hard body. They all rocking Timbs. Yo, somebody in the comments said those ain't Timbs. Only Timbs are the wheats. Bro, y'all have no idea. Damn. The Timology that is involved.
There's a science behind it.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, it's a whole study.
Bro, there is literally a whole study,
Yo,
bro.
why all the Moabites that are coming from Taiwan to work at the chip factory that I'm on? They all wear Timbs to work, bro.
Now those aren't Timbs. Those are the ones they got in the those are the bootleg Timbs.
Bro, they all wear
those
Levi's.
Are Timbs, T-I-M-S.
They all wear Levi's.
They rocking Timbs
at the job site.
Someone said I wasn't ready. They thought there was gonna be some seductive thing. Right. They're like, oh snap, what's going on? What's Deke showing? She said, boom. She had the gray. She had the gray suede Timbs, bro. He was like, no. What are you doing?
Damn.
Oh snap. Damn, man. I'll give it to y'all, man, because that's the truth. That's like, I know it's become like an outrageous joke. But Tim's in New York, man, that's a culture, man. That's a thing. That's a thing, boy. Man, I would go on the hunt for Tim's, bro. I've said it before. I haven't seen them. I still got my chocolate brown. Bro, I remember, man, I was looking for them everywhere, bro. Damn. Everywhere. I found them in a Timberland store in Cali. This is when I was in New York. Got them shipped to me. Chocolate brown Tim's that look like the wheats, but you know, with the chocolate brown, because them things was official. I had the brown peacoat that I got down in the village, not the gay village, the straight village. Because you have to the whole thing is gay now, I'm sure, but you know, you had to coordinate. You had to color coordinate that. You got the brown belt.
Coordinate.
Had the brown.
Right.
I had the brown wool peacoat. You know, winter was my jam in New York, man, because you just layer it up. Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like it's harder for a man to dress nice in the summer.
Yeah. You don't need not as many layers.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hot, you just want to be comfortable, so it's just kind of like, you know, a t-shirt, you know, maybe a polo. Right. I ain't really trying to wear no button-downs and long pants in the summer like that, so winter, that's when the fashion would come out. Yeah, I was styling in the winter.
I'm looking at the chocolate Timbs right now.
You looking at the chocolate Timbs?
Trying to.
Yeah.
Hey, D, the brother said Tim's is the new lingerie.
Tim's is the new lingerie. See, but you got to spell it with the B, T-I-M-B-S. That's official Tim's, T-I-M-B-S. All right, let's get serious here. We want to talk about being able to identify the representative. So we're going to go into this. Get me the scriptures about prove a friend.
Yes,
all right?
sir.
Let's get that.
The book of Sarat, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Right, it says prove him first. And, you know, I've established this over a few weeks with the proving class and everything. when you're proving, it's not to try to play boyfriend and girlfriend. It's not to try to play husband and wife, which is what a lot of people do. It's the time to prove each other and find that thing out, right? And we've gone over how proving's not dating. In the world, we dated, right?
Right.
And then, you're kind of blinded by other things. You obviously didn't have the scriptures, so your foundation's not set up correctly. So you're looking at things from a perspective of you wanting to fulfill some needs.
Right.
And one of those chief needs is usually something physical, right? They keep you warm. You get some bumping and grinding for a little while, right? And that obscures what you're really trying to look for in an individual, right? Especially if you're enjoying that physicality, right? Then it makes you kind of, you don't necessarily pay attention to some things that you may or may not have seen.
Lose focus.
You lose focus, right? So what's wonderful about the way the Most High has this thing set up is that he says, you prove a friend, and he goes through some steps here. We'll read some of them, right? And he's telling you the things to look out for, the things that you got to be careful for. But your mindset in proving is to look for a friend. And this is why I go back and I say a lot of that has to do with, before you even step into that proving circle, that you have a really clear understanding of what you bring to the table and what you expect out of what you want in a partner to bring to the table. And there's too much facade, there's too much masquerade of these basic things that are in the scriptures, right? Because there's deeper things, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Those basic things that are in the scriptures, we shouldn't even talk if you don't have those things, all right? I can't emphasize that enough. You shouldn't even, there should be nothing there for us to have a discussion about trying to pair up together if you don't have that basic stuff. So what you need to focus on is really trying to learn that person through the ups and downs. Remember, we did the Creflo thing, right? That's the time to ask all those questions. Do we have the questions? We don't got to show Creflo, but
I want to meet your mom in them.
Right. That's part of proving. Just get it ready while you look for the questions. It was in the Word doc, all right? If you can't find it on the Power Hour, it might be easier to find it on the announcements chat because I was supposed to do it for the class. Let's go back. Let's read the script again. Come on.
The book of Sarat, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Right? So prove him first. Come on.
And be not hasty to credit him.
Right. And a lot of times we kind of glaze over that. But in the aspect of proving, the hasty to credit is what we've put out there. Year's not enough. And hasty to credit him is, in this situation of proving him or her, right? If you're the woman or the man, to perform in your mind that this person is husband material.
Right.
And anybody who's not husband material, you shouldn't be spending your time with. Anybody who's not wife material, you shouldn't be wasting your time with. So to credit him is that you prematurely put this person in your mind as the person that you're going to marry.
Right.
And I know it's hard because, right, the first thing that most people look for is a physical attraction.
Right.
But then after you get that physical attraction, you got to shut that down. Where's that one where it says the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance of a man?
Sirach 20.
Yeah, get that real quick.
Yes, sir.
Let's get that. And we're going to come back to Sirach 6, all right?
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 36 and verse 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better.
Right. And likewise, women as well. We know for a man, right? So meaning that that's going to be, that's what's going to be maybe your initial thing.
Right.
Before anybody says a word, you're going to consider how they look. Remember last night I was talking with your brother about the micro reactions that you have with somebody?
Right.
I was warning some brothers that work in these environments with around a lot of women, especially these worldly women, and how they dress and how they move. They're not shamefaced, they're shameless, rather.
Right.
And I said what happens is that naughtiness, that lust starts to happen on a subtle level. And the person may not even, they don't have to be like your ideal super attractive person.
Right.
Things just start to happen on a subconscious level. And what I say, there's micro reactions where there's little things that you're not consciously aware of, but that's happening in your eyes and how they move, in the facial expressions that you make.
Body movement.
Body movement.
The blushing.
Right, blushing, things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be a touchy thing, and you don't even realize that you're doing that.
Right.
And I don't mean touching in a provocative way, but just a little shoulder
Like
touch or whatever. Right. physiologically, right? I mean, there is stuff that happens as far as scents and things like that, you know. So, you know, they call it pheromones, and you know, there's things that happen that create attraction. That it's not like you're saying, okay, let me shoot out my pheromones. It starts to happen between people, and you might not even have a dialogue there where you're doing something intentional to try to be with somebody, but it starts there. And this is why you have to have like kind of a hyper awareness of what's happening there and realize, okay, let me take a step back, you know. And men are really bad at that because we'll misconstrue signs and stuff like that. I don't know if I posted the one I want to post. Did I post the one about politeness? No? Okay. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me pull that up. Go ahead, say something.
Might need that.
Yeah, say that. Hold on. Because
so women are notorious for doing that. You know, you could be talking to a woman and that little laugh, and then that little arm grab that they do. Yeah, notorious for that.
Yep, or the shoulder touch.
Right. Yeah, like, you know, I feel an electric charge. I sent you the picture that I want to put up, and women are usually more in tune to this. Men are a little more dense about it. Where they misconstrue kindness and politeness, civility for attraction or flirtation. Let me that's it. Let's pull that up real quick.
Politeness has become so rare that some people mistake it for flirtation.
She's flirting with me. She smiled at me.
Right.
She
smiled at me. She must like me.
Right.
You know, she's making eye contact. She must like me. Right. And it could just be, depending on the context of where you're at, that somebody's polite, somebody's respectful, especially in our environment, right? We teach the women and the sisters to be respectful.
Right, discreet.
Doesn't always mean that there's something there, right?
Well, that's why Bishop was going over about, like, sisters. Bishop Kanai was going over about sisters. Don't look at me for more than such and such seconds.
Yeah.
So
because men are gonna, like, you know,
right?
Yeah.
Be polite, but don't.
And I gotta say, listen. It's knowing this information. I understand. That means it got to be tough out there for women, because that means there's gonna be a lot of undue attention. Even the ones that are not dressed like hoes. Hey, you know what? That reminds me. That little clip you pulled about the chicks at gym. Remember that, Othaniel? When I had posted the clip with the people at the gym, and then you posted. It's in the feed. You had downloaded a portion of it. Yeah, let's get that too. Let's get that too, because there's two ends to this, and then I'm gonna circle back to my point.
I'm gonna find it for him real quick.
Yeah. It should be in the feed. I think it was you who downloaded a portion of it.
What did it say or what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you could just show that portion. We don't need to show the whole thing. That little portion brings the point home, because it was like a 9-minute clip. It was a very good clip.
Right.
But brothers, I got to tell you, a sister being polite or whatever does not mean that she's into you.
Right.
But this goes back to what I'm talking about, those micro reactions, though. So that type of thing will happen there. And when you're interested in somebody, those things are going on subconsciously. So I understand the challenges of the physicality of being attracted to somebody, but you have to be more disciplined to turn those things off. Get me the other one in Sarat about the operations.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Remember, I've been using that and meditating that on a lot for whenever we have any type of issues. Because we're not animals, right? God made us with these faculties to be able to resist those types of things. Is this Sirach 17?
Yes, Sirach 17, verse 5.
Go ahead, get that. Remember, we have to employ these things, okay? The first 5 that he's going to talk about is going to encompass those micro reactions. Right? There's something going on there that you don't realize is going on, and that's just your senses. But we have sense. And we should have sense, so we go beyond that, right? Go ahead, read this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 17 and verse 5. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord.
Right, and that's the 5 senses. That's where you experience those micro reactions, right? And you might be subconsciously attracted to somebody, but even that doesn't mean you necessarily like them beyond that. There's just something happening there, right? Come on.
And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding.
But we have understanding, and we should not be subject to those lusts, to those carnal impulses, right? Come on.
And in the 7th, speech, an interpreter of the cogitations thereof.
So rather than assume something, how about you ask? Instead of trying to be touchy Instead of trying to go ahead and do the googly eyes and all the smiles and all this other stuff.
Right.
A dialogue should happen. A conversation should happen. So meaning when we have these type of things, God gave us more than just so the senses play a role in it, but he gave us more than that. Read on.
Verse 6, counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand.
To understand. The main point being to understand. So I guess I'm saying I'm taking the long way to tell you that I understand the physicality of those 5 operations.
Right.
But God gave us a 6th and 7th that doesn't make us subject to those things.
That's heavy.
That makes us rulers of. That's what it says. Rule your spirit.
Right.
Right. That makes us above those things. Where Paul says, I keep
under my body.
I keep under my body.
Right.
Right? Let's get that real quick.
Yes,
People
sir.
might not know where that is, right? Let's bring that out.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9, and verse 27. Bring it out. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
And how does he do that? By what we read in Sarat 17, all right? And 5. Because the part that's the body is those 5 operations. That's just the senses, right? You don't think to activate those things. You don't have to think to activate those things. You see, right? You smell.
Right.
If it's pleasing to you, it's pleasing to you. It's just wired into the way he made. It's our programming, so to speak.
Right.
But then he also gave us 6 and 7. He gave us 6, which is understanding, to keep your body under, and then the 7th to being able to talk about it. That's why after he says counsel he gave us.
Right.
Because meaning, it doesn't mean formal counsel with leadership all the times. It means don't assume. Let's have the conversation and the dialogue to really understand what's being said. And sometimes something may be said and it's still not. Like, for example, you can find somebody attractive, but that doesn't mean you like them.
Right.
There is a difference. You can say somebody's good looking.
No, that happens all the time in the world.
I can look at Idris Elba, and I can agree that that's a good-looking brother. But I feel no type of singling sensations in my 5 senses for Idris Elba. So you can think somebody has a good look to them and not feel anything about them, right? So we have to realize the nuance in that. So read this, what Paul said again.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9 and verse 27.
And my main point is for you guys going into proving, I'm acknowledging that it starts with a look.
Yes.
We brought out how the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance of a man, right?
One of the first of the 5 senses is the look.
Yes. Even subtly for women.
Right.
There's a thing, some women will say they don't want, certain types of guys. I'm not going to get into the whole fat and whatever, but there's something to be said for broad shoulders that subconsciously tells you about somebody, right? A posture, how somebody carries themselves, subconsciously that triggers something, especially in females. Right? In females, it triggers okay, this is a commanding presence. This is an authoritative type of man. It looks like.
Right.
I mean, he could just look like that phically, and then that's when the word. And then he sounds like Mike Tyson when he talks, right? Although Mike Tyson's a very tough man, I'm not gonna. He'll put the beats on people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's a poor example, but oh, that's like there's a clip from a movie. I can't remember what it is. We don't got to look for it. It's these, it's Edomites. It's the 2 women. I seen it on Facebook or something, and they sitting there. They see this guy all muscular comes out the water. They're like, "Oh my God, he's walking over." He walks over and he goes, "Hey, how you girls doing?"
Right.
And they were all like, so all of that, But that's the 6th and 7th telling them, oh. So he might look this way.
But that's not what it is.
That's not what it is, right? So I'm just saying that to say that there's a lot going on there. And God gave us the 6th and 7th so that we do it. We're not animals. We're not mammals that you just see something, you smell something, you look for the strongest thing, and you go. Right? But some of us act that way. So this is why, because Paul's thing was lust, concupiscence and stuff.
Right.
So what he's telling you here is that there's a way to do it, and the answer and how you do it is in Sarat. Read what Paul said again. Come on.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 27. But I keep under my body.
Meaning he keeps those 5 operations disciplined under his body. Meaning he has to press them down.
Know his weaknesses as well.
No, being able to identify. It's called self-awareness. This is why we harp on brothers so much about being able to self-examine. In general, the body. Being able to self-examine. but you can't even self-examine little things, then how are you going to be able to discipline impulses? And it might not even be attraction. Some people are not self-aware how angry they can be and how they act out in anger. Right? It goes back to Proverbs, where it talks about a man that can't rule his spirit is like a city without walls.
Right.
Right? Go ahead. Read this from the top again.
But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
And he brings it into subjection by what? The 6th and the 7th operations that God gave us. And counsel, you got a dialogue. Sometimes you got a dialogue with yourself. I mean, not like a nut job where, you know, you have another name for your other personality, that sort of thing.
Cracker.
Right. Cracker. Right. We all kind of dialogue with ourselves to some extent.
Right.
But then there's like a limit to that. You know, you got people who like literally.
Well, that's where that counsel comes into play.
Right.
Because you dialoguing too much.
Right.
You need to get some.
You need to get somebody else to kind of look at it from the outside.
Right.
Right. So that was it on that verse?
That was it.
Okay. So now go back to
Sirach 17.
Sirach 17 again. Let's get that, and then we go back to Sirach 6, and then we'll play the video. Oh, that it was grown-ups. Saskatoon, Canada, eh?
Yeah.
Where you from? Oh, from Canada. All freaking brolic and whatever. But the point that I'm making is that you got to almost be able to block that off, right? And look at the substance of somebody before you move forward to that. So I understand that initially it starts with a look. But I've seen people that it starts with a look and they read the profile. You know, if you're doing things the right way, we ask a few questions. We told them to ask a few questions and give a little background. And they'll be like, yeah, nah, I'm not interested. You know? Because maybe she looked pretty, but she got 5 kids and you're only willing to be with somebody with 3. No offense. Let's not even start the dialogue because I know that that's a non-negotiable for me.
Right.
But what happens is when you feel needy, when you don't feel confident in yourself, when you don't love yourself, when you're lonely, when you want to save money on bills, maybe your biological clock is ticking and you want to have children, you start to trim what you're looking for in somebody. And you start to say, okay, yeah, you know, it's not really, I'm not really into this, but, you know, they do have this and they do have that. And then when you start doing that, what you've done is you've opened yourself up to blinding yourself from other things that might be bigger things that are something that you won't want to deal with, right? I'm sorry, before you get that scripture, I wanted to show this clip. So I said sometimes men, remember we said politeness is so rare that people think it's flirting. People think it's flirting. And that's why, sisters, I advise you, keep your conversation brief and short with brothers, because not all brothers got sense in them. Be careful what you share and with who. That doesn't get misconstrued. Like you might have a because women talk about that stuff, right? I'll say girls because kind of girly too to some extent. Oh yeah, this brother's handsome, that brother's handsome, this brother's handsome, so on and so forth. And they might run and think that means, oh, you want to be with somebody. Like I said, that's like I could, you know, remember Hot or Not? Like, you know what I'm saying? You remember that on the internet, like Hot or Not? Like that don't mean you're gonna be with them. There was like a thing where you would just rate Hot or Not.
It's kind of like Tinder where you swipe left, swipe right.
I guess, but you couldn't meet them. It was just pictures and you rated them hot or not. There was no contact info. Right. I think Tinder's like you hook up, right?
Yeah, that's the point of it.
Right. Okay. Like so you hook up. And it I don't even want to say it's lowering your standards. I think it's that people don't know what their standards really are.
That's facts.
People don't really know what their standards really are. And this is why I say you got to take a strong self-assessment of you. You know, a lot of times we'll ask brothers, hey, you ready? You ready for someone? Yeah, I'm ready. You know, the sisters will ask the sister, you ready to be submissive? Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, but submissive to submit receipts, complaints?
Right.
To submit grief? Do you understand what that really means? To have the mind of your Lord?
Right.
For your desires to be unto him? And brothers, do you understand what the responsibility is? That it says he who gets a wife gets a possession. That reminds me, there was a sister a few weeks back said, why are you always comparing women to cars? Because Christ spoke in parables. He compared us to trees.
Right.
He compared us to fruit.
That's heavy.
And figs.
That's right.
Where the hell you been at? Now we in modern times. Some of you don't even know what a fig is. So I'm going to talk about freaking cars.
Right. Hey, D, they ain't complaining about it when R. Kelly said you remind me of my Jeep.
Oh, no, they didn't like that. They were all open to that. They was moist.
Keys to ignition.
They was moist. And R. Kelly compared him to his Jeep.
Damn.
Popping fresh out the kitchen. Be like, let me stop. Let me stop.
Oh my goodness. Right? And men, you got to understand that the responsibilities of what that means, right? And how it's the beginning of building a nation.
Right.
And it's not to say that wanting company, wanting affection, and wanting all those things is wrong. But there's responsibilities that come with those things being fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're looking at marriage biblically. Because the world just teaches you love is love and do what feels good. This is how you have men marrying men and women marrying women.
Right.
Knowing that by design you do something like that, there's disorder.
Mm-hmm.
There's disorder. It's disorderly conduct. All right? So here's another thing, though. Remember, I was saying some brothers, they don't know just a sister being polite. So we tell you, sisters, keep your conversation short, brief. Some brothers want to be playful. I'm not saying be rude to anybody. All right? Be peaceable with all people. All right? And especially in the body. All right? But sisters, be mindful. Be mindful, right? And if you are interested in somebody, your best bet is to just kind of go through the process and make it known so that there's not this scandal type of thing going on.
Right.
Right? So, now on the other hand, right, going back to those micro reactions, not our sisters in here that roll this way, but once upon a time they did. Because we won't allow them through the doors if they're immodest.
Right.
But you can't say... And I'm telling you, a lot of you sisters, you gotta, if you're in the spirit, now that you're in this walk, remember the defense when you would say, well, why do you dress like that? I dress like that for me. That's a lie. That's a lie.
That's facts.
It's a lie you would tell. You told it so much that you believed it. But if you in the spirit, don't tell me that you dress nice like that for yourself. Because once you walked away from the mirror, you weren't seeing yourself anymore.
Right.
And you gauged how nice you looked by the number of compliments you got or stares or whatever it was. So you know you had a vanity spirit in wanting to flaunt something. And what you should have been flaunting is not your physical assets, but the assets of who you are as a woman.
Right.
And what you bring to the table in that regard. And a lot of times the reason we walked around that way, and women especially, flaunting themselves, it stems from insecurity about everything else that they have.
Right.
If the greatest thing that you can bring to the table is your physical body and your looks, then you're not so great at all.
Right.
And it's not to say, sisters that don't take care of themselves, don't step your game up. All right? And I'm not saying you got to throw on a bunch of makeup. We spoke about Peanut, right? But, you can take care of yourself. You got some sisters is always all disheveled and all types of stuff.
Right.
All right? Hold on. We'll take the call in a second. I want to play the video clip real quick that you put down, all right? Listen to this. This is an excerpt from a 9-minute clip. Because he's talking about basically women at gyms that dress all salacious and then they upset when they get attention. And I'm not talking about guys being disrespectful, but they just getting some eyes or somebody talking to them. I just came here to work out.
They were looking for it.
Right. Right. Come on, go ahead.
If you're a woman and you don't want to be noticed by men, if indeed even the brief glance of a man offends you and causes trauma, then you might consider wearing clothing when you go out in public.
Bring it
Now, I'm
out.
not saying you need to cover yourself in a burlap sack or hit the gym in a parka and snow pants, but I am saying that you probably want to wear more than just your underwear. So both women are working out in skimpy spandex shorts and a sports bra, a uniform that has become, by the way, quite common at gyms all across the country. At some point in the past few years, the nation's women decided by majority vote, I guess, that clothes are optional when working out in public. And yeah, according to the laws in most states, apparently, they're free to treat the gym like a nudist resort if they so choose, but they're not free to control everyone else's minds and eyeballs while they perform a strip.
Right. His point was saying you're going to dress like that and then you're mad that you're attracting the attention.
Right. Why are you looking at me?
Why are you looking at me?
The hell you dress like that?
Because you have the attire of a harlot?
Right.
And that's what's going to happen? Don't mean it's right. I'm not saying it's right if somebody being all oogly-eyed and stuff like that. But some of the stuff is so subtle. It's not a big deal, So you got to understand there's sides to this thing. But you can't tell me, sisters, you got to own that. If you're in the right spirit and you're in this walk, and you haven't been able to realize that that's why you flaunted your body that way, you wanted the attention.
Right.
You wanted the attention. Don't say you did it for yourself. Who do we have on the phone?
We have a brother that is with the Dallas camp who had a question about the representative and what to look for in those red flags.
Oh, okay. Well, that's we're gonna move into some of that in a minute. We welcome to have him introduce himself and speak on the call. But
Yes, sir.
it's a lot. The rest of the show gonna go into that.
Right.
who we got? Who we got on the line? Welcome to the Power Hour.
Hello?
Hey, shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Hey, this is Reverend Slewfoot Pigamoose from the Ebenezer Baptist Church of God in Christ.
Who is that? Is that Deacon Abio?
Hey, he fooled Soldier David, but I told him who it was.
This is Reverend Slewfoot Pigamoose from the Ebenezer Baptist Church of the World.
All right. Welcome to the show, Reverend Slewfoot. I knew it, bro. Cause you know why? That Ebenezer Baptist Church. I knew it, bro. Hey, what's up, Deke? Most High Christ bless, bro. What's going on?
Hey, Most High Christ bless. Hey, first and foremost, I want to thank you, man, for giving me that screenshot. That Idris Alba comment was fantastic.
Hey, don't you dare, bro. You know I got ammunition against you about the DC universe, all right? So.
Oh damn! You're right. Let me
fall back. Holster your weapon, bro. Holster your weapon.
I'm a holster it. Nah, man, I did want to speak, but you giving free game right now, Deacon Yahshua. Free game, and I'm telling you, folks is tuned in, but man, these brothers and sisters be checked out when it comes time to apply these things when it comes to proving. You made a statement about people kind of basically lowering their standards because they feel like the biological clock is ticking. You know what I'm saying? This might be going on, that might be going on. And they don't realize it's not just that. Like you said, they're overlooking other red flags that they wouldn't normally overlook, but because of that spirit of desperation setting in, now all of a sudden they want to settle. Now all of a sudden they just, they're going to go run with whatever, and then it comes back to bite them later on. Now, I'm not saying that sisters don't need to be realistic or brothers don't need to be realistic.
Right.
You be having these people that will set high standards that's above their means. And Kevin, we can pull a whole bunch of Kevin Samuel videos showing that.
You sure right about that.
Damn Skippy. But you do need to stick to what it is, what you want. And like I said, brothers who wouldn't necessarily pick the big girl. You know what I'm saying? But because you feel like, you ain't getting looks or you ain't found the one yet, now you went with the sister that you're not attracted to, and then you just set yourself up for later on to have some issues, fornication problems,
right.
things like that. Another thing spiraled out, from that.
Right.
So I pray brothers and sisters just taking heed, man, because like I said, this is free game right now, and we see it over and over, bro, over and over.
All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Yup. Yeah, we definitely moving in that spirit, trying to bring this stuff to people's attention, but goes back to what we read in Sarat 17, that people just operate on them 5 operations and they forget about the 6th and 7th, or they become deaf, dumb, and blind spiritually to what they need to be looking for. So, yeah, all praises to the Most High, man. You on the road or you in the crib?
Yeah, no, I'm on the road, bro. I'm on the road, man. I'm heading to Greenleaf.
Greenleaf.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, what's up? You was gonna say something else? I cut you, D. I cut you. Go ahead. What you were gonna say? Something?
What I was gonna say was also, and like I said, I don't know how. I know this ain't fix your face, so I know I'm trying to be professional.
Nah. We bro. If you didn't see me from the beginning, I'm whipping out marbles and stuff like that.
Faces getting fixed.
Faces get fixed.
You just. About the marbles. I forgot y'all got a bag of marbles. Brother. Anyway,
bro, we got some marbles, bro. You fixed them faces, D. You fixed them faces.
Hey, let's be honest, man. Like I said, brothers be burning also, and they be settling. I'm gonna tell you, once them couple of nuts wear off, and now you can see that sister for what she looked like. Now she don't, you know what I'm saying? Now it's not, of urgency. Like now you wishing you would have waited.
Yeah.
Brothers be doing that stuff, man. It's not about busting the nut. It's about, hey, make sure this person you pick you're gonna be with him or her for the rest of your life.
Right.
Don't let that fire get you burned. I'm telling you, it'll be a bad day.
Yeah, right. Hey, and you know something? If you wind up in that situation, once you get that post nut clarity or post nuts, however many it takes, is wicked as hell if you try not to make that thing work. Now, this is what you did. That's that union, and you gotta. This is why I've been cautioning people with as much of this, like you said, this free game. You know, for those that still ain't pulled that trigger, they don't realize how much we see. Not everything gets put out on the classes and stuff like that, and how much we deal with as far as these type of situations. Right. And, you know, then at that point, you got to make the best of it, you know? Hey, that reminds me, wasn't there a song, man? Was it Stevie Wonder? If you can't be with the one you love the one you with.
On love, right? Love the one you with.
Love the one you with. That if you don't follow the advice, you don't take the right steps, you better love the one you with, because that's what God commands.
Right.
Yep. So
exactly.
They got to roll in that right spirit. Hey, man, be safe in Greenleaf, man, and don't bring none of that Oklahoma water over there, okay? They don't need any more of that.
Hey, I'm not of Oklahoma. Remember that. Like I said, that's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm sovereign.
You just in there, but you're not of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's around me, but I'm sovereign. You know what I'm saying? I don't associate with the Oklahoma.
Man. Hey, Deke, man, I appreciate the call in, man. All right. Hey, Godspeed. Who you heading out with? Who you got with you?
I got Captain AZ. Man, you can hold on. We pull over, bro. You don't see that? Bro, we just see a big ass sign. What street are we on? Y'all didn't see that? That's the Israel United in Christ sign. Y'all didn't see that?
No.
Bro, that was, hey, Dickie Joshua, we on the highway. We in Alabama, and we just passed a sign. Billboard. Man, this is dope. Did y'all not see that?
Oh, praises. Look at that. That's what's up, boy.
Bro,
that's what's up. Bro. Presents, bro. Presents.
Truth springing out of the earth.
Oh, man.
What town is this?
Oh, praises, brother.
Is this Jasper? This is crazy. Well, hey, I'm hyped. I'm sorry, Dickie Joshua.
Nah, you good, Deke.
This is dope.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
We got to get a picture. Hey, if I get a picture, I'm going to send it to you, Deke.
All right.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
that
do
just
it.
happened.
Do it. Take a snap. Send it to me,
brothers,
man.
Y'all be easy, man.
Hey, Godspeed to y'all traveling, all right? Stay safe out there.
Hey, Deke.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Deacon.
What's happening?
Hey, it's Officer Shy. Hey, save Captain Amaziah. Bring him back. Why?
So you know why I'm going down there, bro.
Yeah. Bring him back.
My brother. Right? We gonna bring him. We gonna reel him back in.
Oh man!
Yeah.
All praises. All praises. Y'all be safe. Appreciate the call, in D. Godspeed to y'all.
Shalom, D.
Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
No problem. Most High Christ bless. Shalom.
All praises, man. Hey, me and D get out here, boy. You know he be joking, man. Like,
hey, shout out to Alabama.
Yeah, he playfully calls me his arch nemesis though, cause bro, you know he said he got the little soundbite of me with the Idris Elba, but I got ammo for days against the Deke. It's kind of like Russia and the U.S. Nuclear deterrent. Yeah, right? They got all the missiles, but they ain't never gonna use them.
Don't shoot and
don't
we won't
shoot. You don't shoot and I won't shoot, Deke. You won't shoot and I mean privately. Amongst ourselves, it's all fair game. Sometimes we're so mean to each other, bro.
That's funny.
We are so wild with each other sometimes. All praises to the Most High. Hey, he reinforced and made some profound points in that regard. So I pray that you're moving in that right spirit. He said from the Ebenezer Baptist Church. I knew it was him, bro. I knew. I said, wait a second.
Yeah. Daniel said that David fell for it.
Damn, David really believed it?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Anyway, man, where we at? We had showed that clip on the women, right? Okay, let's go back.
We didn't do another clip.
Did I have another clip?
You had the clip of the sister that talked about like the sex life in the beginning.
I wanted to open with that. We an hour in, a little more an hour in, and now we going with it. So
it's
now, she gonna go into what me and Deke was just bringing out. Okay, what me and Deke was just talking about.
Black macho.
All right, so first of all, I've learned. I still want to do the social media topic too. I don't know if I want to do it as a class or on the show. I know. I have a plethora of topics. A plethora. You seen the Three Amigos? You remember that? Plethora. You know the Three Amigos?
Yeah.
Señor Guapo. Señor Guapo.
Yes.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas?
Nah.
You ever seen Three Amigos?
Nah.
Oh my goodness, it's like cornball comedy of the genre. But it was it Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and
It's been a long.
is it Dan Aykroyd? I don't remember who the third one is. Funny. As a kid, bro, it's just such a hilarious flick. But you have Señor Guapo. So would you have a plethora of piñatas? Yes, Señor Guapo, you have a plethora.
I got you. It was Steve Martin.
Chevy Chase.
And Martin Shorts.
And Martin Short.
Short.
That's who it was. Martin Short. I confuse it. Yep, Martin Short. He said, do you know what a plethora is? No, Señor Guapo. So then why the hell would you tell me I have a plethora of piñatas? We have a plethora of videos to show. So topics. I have a plethora of topics. But one thing that I was reading, and I like the line, you know how we always talk about the algorithms are strange?
Yes.
You're responsible for your algorithm. Because ever since I started looking for stuff on this topic, now I get notifications without even asking for them on this topic. So this is why I've been able to kind of just get material and stuff like that. Right. That reminds me too, that show Evil I've spoken about, that is on Paramount Plus now. And, you know, it's like Catholic, that the devil's in hell and all this other stuff. But they had an episode where it spoke about the algorithms and that there's spirits in the algorithm. So, you know, I'm looking at it spiritually.
Really?
Yeah, there was a whole company, and it was supposed to be like Twitter and Instagram, and the spirits in the algorithms were making people do stuff. So it was kind of a political play, like to talk about how, you know, the internet can influence people who are unstable to do things.
Right.
But then they did it in the form of spirit. So they went to investigate if there was a spirit in the algorithm. And then what's cool about the show is that they'll give you a scientific side, and then they leave it very ambiguous. So basically, depending on what you believe,
you can fill it in.
You're going to believe that it was spiritual or it was
scientific. Yeah.
And in the team, one of them's a psychologist, one of them's a priest, black priest, and one of them is like the sciencey guy. And it seems to appear like every episode he debunks the stuff, but it's not enough that it's unequivocal.
Substantial.
So it leaves questions and stuff like that.
Right.
So, you know, I like it because it's a little campy, it's entertaining, but I can almost always see the spirituality in something that I'm watching, you know? And if it's not the whole thing, there's pieces of it where you see something. But that's just what happens eventually as you move through certain things. But anyway, I got this one. Now, she's going to start talking about premarital sex, okay? They keep saying mics are low, that they're going up and down and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys are paying attention to that. I hear myself fine. Yeah. And obviously, we know in the construct of a relationship with Israel, we're not going to do the what they call premarital sex, right? That's even a term that they made for it. Sex was always defined as in the construct of a marriage, right? And you might have been this sister at one point in your life. But for sisters who never have been with anybody and they're rolling in the right spirit now, or the ones who did and you know, you're not married now and you're trying to get with somebody, you got to listen to this type of information, okay? Go ahead and play.
I remember my last relationship, my son's father was not all that in bed. Oh, he sucked ass in bed. And I always thought to myself, you know what, with time, this could get better, you feel me? Because I liked him. I loved who he was. And later on, when I found out.
So she's saying, you know, again, I prefaced it with what I said about that carnal aspect of it, but don't let that deter you from the rest of what she says, all right? Like I said, this might have been you at one time, and now you have a chance to do it differently. And if it wasn't you, you have a chance to do it the correct way. And she's basically said, look, you know, I didn't really like what it was like in the bed, but I figured, you know, he had everything else that I liked. So it could get better, right? That, you know, we would grow and learn together or what have you. Or maybe, you know, it was good in bed and that made you overlook other things. That's why I say you got to put the blinders on in that stuff, you know? But go ahead.
He was just a fairy tale that he created for me.
Stop. She said, and then he found out that he was just a fairy tale that he created for her. This is why I said the stranger that I am proving. Because you think you know somebody. And the reality is, it's not that anybody ever changed. People tell you who they are all the time.
Right.
but it's very rarely ever directly told.
That's
You
heavy.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Let me say it
that's
again.
heavy, that's heavy.
People are always telling you who they are by their actions, by their interactions with others, by subtle things that you see. I'm less concerned to an extent, especially in like the earlier stages of how you are with me. I mean, clearly if you're not great with me, right? And I mean, obviously it's different now, I'm married, but in general, let's say just even proving a friend. And I'm more concerned with how you react with others.
Right.
When I'm trying to learn you. Because I get that the beginning is intensified, it's exciting, it's new. Whether it's a new relationship of opposite sex or you're meeting a new friend, it's exciting in the beginning.
Right.
New is exciting.
Right. You got the experience.
There's a lot of
journey.
mystery to uncover.
Right.
You want to share all types of things about yourself, which is natural. So, this is a person that doesn't know anything about me. Let me tell them all about myself. And I want to learn all about them. But you don't really want to know all about them. Because if you did, you'd want to see how they are in various situations, like the questions that we brought up. We're going to come back to the video, show the questions, right?
Hey, Deacon, can you repeat that one more time? People always tell you who they are,
People are always telling you who they really are, but it's not always directly. Meaning, I can tell you, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that. This is my character. This is me. Yeah, I want to do this with my life. And it's not right. You share each other's dreams.
Yeah.
And it sounds so great, right? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be the CEO of the bank that I work at one day, and and you're like, ooh, he has ambition, and then you look past all these other red flags that showed that was just talk, and then you wind up in the relationship and you realize he's too scared, too dumb, too lazy to actually even take those steps. He wanted this goal, but did he have what he needed to get to that goal?
The back.
All you did was heard a great dream, and you say, wow, this guy's ambitious.
Right. You know what that makes me think of, too? It says, by their fruits you shall know them.
Yep.
And even talk no more so exceeding proudly. But it says, God is a knowledge.
Let's read that.
Actions
By their
are
fruits
ways.
you shall know them, because that's heavy. Because a lot of times we just look at that, and Christ was clearly talking about the Pharisees and how they were rolling and stuff like that. But really, that's sound doctrine. That's sound advice that you can apply in any type of situation.
Right.
Right? Go ahead. Let's read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16.
Bring it out!
Ye shall know them by their fruits. I'm sorry. Yep. I'm sorry. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Verse 20.
Thank you. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them.
Right. So he's letting you know that you're going to weigh actions. And this is what I mean when I say people are always telling you who they are.
You want the one that he quoted too?
If you let them. What was the other one he quoted?
Samuel? 1 Samuel?
No, but what's it say?
Talking about actions are way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. You can put that out. Yep, I like that one. That is one I quote often.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 3.
Bring it out!
Talk no more exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of thy mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
And we should have that mentality. So what I mean is, they're going to talk proud, they're going to talk arrogantly about who they are and what they are and what they represent. And that's necessary information. But it's not the only information that you should base your decision on.
That's heavy.
I hope
That's
Soldier
heavy, 'cause
Ezekiel is listening when we was talking about Africa that one time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again?
When we was talking about Africa, that house that I had posted that's like mad cheap, and brothers was like, yeah, I'll go to Africa.
Right.
Can I get some real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring
Get
it up.
Sarat 1 and 29. Because that's heavy. That it talks about talk no more so exceedingly proudly. And you said it's important, right? I mean, we talk about it all the time. Sales is something we're going to be selling ourselves to our spouse. We sell ourselves to jobs and job interviews. You're always selling something, right? But once you've given the pitch, there's still follow through with the actions and performance. But get Sarat 1 and verse 29.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 29.
Bring it out!
Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men.
Read.
Take good heed what thou speakest.
And that's what it's going into, because I thought of that when we just went into 1 Samuel. Because you can talk so more exceeding proudly, but then when it comes time for your actions to match your speech, if they don't match up, you can become a hypocrite.
Right. Right.
Right.
Question.
What were you gonna say?
So people always tell you who they are, who they really are by subtleties, but not always directly. What are some of the ways they tell you who they're not? I'm not who they really are. Indirectly.
So when I get to the characteristics of difficult people, and that's just one line of it, that's going to give you some direct things. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a second. But remember, the sister was saying, let's run it back so we don't lose the point with the sister. All right, run it back a few seconds on sis. Just like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
I loved who he was. And later on, when I found out he was just a fairy tale that he created for me.
Stop. So he was a fairy tale that he created for her. That's the representative.
Right.
Which means he was a stranger. And the point I want to emphasize in this is that he was always that person. You just let your own desires, you just let your own view not see those things. Maybe, I mean, she wasn't blinded by sex. She said the sex was whack, so the representative really got her, right? Some of you might have been blinded by physicality. Maybe, like I said, the sex was great.
Right.
So you were so focused on that. So you figured if the sex is good, how can not the rest of the relationship be bad? That's the worst thing that you could go into, right? Because the reality is, if you have everything else that you need in a relationship,
you could work the sex out.
You work the sex out because that's just a matter of communication.
Right.
I mean, the parts work. They do what they do. You just got to be willing to express without the taboo, because in marriage, the bedroom's undefiled, right? Meaning it's not fornication. It's not filthy. So there should be no taboo. You should be able to say, hey, I like this. I want to try this. So let's try that. Let's see how this goes, right? Hey, I liked it when, you at this angle, or, hey, when you give me a little more kissing, I like this, or, whatever it is.
You work through it.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all sexual stuff. You have that conversation.
Right.
Right? You have that conversation, whatever it is, right? And you should be able to work through that. But you let those things kind of blind you, when really what you should be looking at is things like this. So there's questions that you ask, right? And these were the questions that Creflo did him jokingly, right? But let's read down the list again. Come on.
What's your name? Is that your real name? Do you have your daddy name? When can I meet him? Is your daddy and mama together? How do you act when you get mad?
Hey, and that's one, some of these questions is a way. When you get to the point where you're meeting the parents, that's going to tell you a lot. Remember how the Most High was saying about Miriam, if your father had only spit in your face, right? Meaning you're going to see, like, is she excessively daddy's girl? Was she a little princess? She an only child? What type of tendency she's going to have in her behavior? Or how is he with his mom? If it's a guy, okay? You want to see those type of things. You want to see how they act with their friends, with their siblings, with other people, right? And hey, maybe they have a super dysfunctional family like mine, because I think I'm a pretty well-rounded guy. I'm confident that I'm a high-value guy. I've always felt that way. I've never felt insecure about myself. I've never been arrogant. I've always been humble enough to know, where I can improve.
Yep.
But I've always felt, because that's the new term now, high value. I've always felt I was high value. I've always had things to bring to the table. And in a lot of ways, especially the way the world is set up, the scripture says the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. There's nothing wrong to feel that way. I'm confident I'm a high value man, right? Unequivocally.
And we should feel that way as the chosen.
Right.
Like,
right.
We should have.
Just with that, you should. But even then, a lot of us are chosen. Well, called. Let's say that, because many are called, but few are chosen.
Right.
You should feel some framework of that as being called, but we don't know who's chosen. But my point is, it's not from a point of arrogancy. So what you bring to the table and what you offer. But I say that to say, my relationship with my worldly now they're worldly, somewhat dysfunctional, right? Like, I'm not super close with a lot of them, but it's because I know what to stay away from. But the thing is, you got to dig a little deeper into that to understand that, right? Because that'll tell you some stuff. So, do you have a daddy? What's your daddy's name? When can I meet him? Come on.
How do you act when you get mad?
Right. And he says that as a question, but you're not going to really know until you see them. So I want to see you mad.
Right.
I want to see you in situations where you're angry, and maybe not necessarily with me.
With somebody else. That's
With
what I was
somebody
thinking
else.
about. Right. You said watching how they interact with others.
Yes, because you might have a motive. So, Bishop has brought out in the past, and again, people talk about proving. It doesn't. I'm giving just an example. It doesn't have to be. You can see it in the congregation. But, you go out. So how do they treat service staff?
Right.
How do they treat waiters? How do they treat people around them?
That's heavy.
Right? What regard do they have?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you meet a coworker. How do they treat their coworkers, There's different things that you got to see in that regard, right? And even work is a modified behavior, workspace.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's not the same, right? Go ahead, read on.
Do you throw things? Do you cuss around? Do you beat up on people? Do you have a job? Where do you work? How much money do you make?
Now, those might be questions that you ask a little later. I don't think you get into money making at the outset, right? Come on.
How long have you been working there? Do you have a bank account? How is your credit?
I mean, eventually, those are questions you're going to want to know. A lot of you going to jump in this proving process. If you decided this person's going to be your spouse, you haven't had discussion about how their money habits are. Have you gone through the scriptures? Do they love money? You know what the scripture is about, the love of money.
Right.
It doesn't say money is the root of all evil. That's a misquote. It says the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
Are they somebody that has, how are they in that? And it's not always necessarily cheap, right? I go like this because we say,
Codo.
tacaño,
El codo.
duro, we go like this. Cheap guy. That's niggardly. That's somebody who's niggardly, excessively cheap. Like, like they'll buy the cheapest toilet paper or,
Doing too. There's a scripture talks about a man.
You a brother that's gonna go away for a week on an international trip, and you leave your wife with $20.
Come on, man.
And one roll of toilet paper, and you're a family of 4.
Trash.
I'm saying that because
It's
there's
happened.
brothers like that. It's happened.
Right.
Especially the work stuff. Don't assume because they get up and go to work every day that's a good work ethic. Because we look for those type of things. Oh, they're hardworking. How do you know they're hardworking? How do you know?
Right.
Okay, read on.
Do you have a job? Where do you work? How much money do you make? How long have you been working there? Do you have a bank account? How is your credit? Can I see your credit score? Do you have a house or do you live in an apartment?
Hey, and not just that. Where's your apartment? Do you have a roommate? Why do you live here?
Right.
Why do you decide to live here? Maybe they're in a crappy neighborhood.
Why do you have a roommate?
You got to think about that type of stuff. Are they in a crappy neighborhood because they're just on hard times, or they just like that type of environment? It represents who they really are. Are they just bad with their money? Maybe they got a hidden gambling problem. I mean, it could be a bunch of things.
Right.
Hey, Deacon, to add to that roommate situation, what is your roommate of the opposite sex? Because you see that in some cases.
Right. Not only that, about the roommate is, can you live alone? Can you handle yourself?
Yeah. Have you ever lived alone?
Right. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. Come on.
How is your credit? Can I see your credit score? Do you have a house or do you live in an apartment? Do you pay for the gas in your car? Do you live with your mama in it? What do you like to eat? Do you plan on being fine all your life?
Hey, and it might not have to be posed that way, but remember I said for me, like, exercise is a lifestyle,
Right.
I'm not walking around necessarily with a 6-pack. I got a decent 4-pack in the morning, so the day's food and bloat gets in, but, are you somebody that has a good foundation that I know you're always going to look like that, or are you just kind of sprucing it up because you're on the market?
Right.
Bishops were bringing out in some of the classes weeks back where they were talking about how, you'll get divorced, and they used to show the Kevin Samuels clip. So, I bet you're ready to be single and you're going to lose weight and do everything else. So why don't you do that to keep your husband? You know how it happens when you get signal, right? I mean, let's go out. They go out with their friends to try to cope with the grief, and they lose weight, they get extra fine.
Right.
And then, if you're into playing the vicious circle of going back to exes, they see you, they see that you've lost weight. There's all time, oh, you look so different. Oh, my God, you look great. I mean, all the bullshit.
Right. That's why it says the
Gosh,
carrot.
it's so sickening. I think about the stuff that I was in, because I was that guy sometimes. I break up with somebody. She go through her breakup. She looking all fine. Meanwhile, she probably got run through by how many miles of ride?
Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Right. Right. There's like an equation one of the brothers posted. I never posted it on the show because I think it's like the language is pretty crude, but it talks about like the average penis size, how many thrusts, how many guys in a year, and all that. And then it's kind of sobering. And if you think about it, you're looking at it from just how many guys she been with, but it's like how many miles of rod
Wow.
has been pumping through the vag. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it even says like so the average is like they'll date for a month, they'll sleep together 3 times, and 100 pumps per nut. Like it goes into all that. Like it's wild. It's great. Maybe I'll post it for you guys on the group, but there's different or the guy, right? Remember, it's not okay for a guy to have been promiscuous, right?
Facts.
Like. What are you doing? Like, how many serious relationships you've had and so on and so forth. Are you able to be committed? Bunch of different stuff that you could look at in that. But, appearance. You want to know, like, if that's somebody that they basically generally like to be healthy, if that's your thing, and take care of themselves. Right. Is that a lifestyle for you? That's why I was saying, like I was talking earlier, for me, working out's a lifestyle. Like, I enjoy it. Like, I get more benefits from it than just the physical stuff from it, Especially, I was saying, as I've gotten older, as I've hit, like, 40 and I'm moving past, I'm going to be on the other side, closer to 50 soon. I'm looking for ways to kind of, feel better, right? And, I don't like to feel bad. I like to have energy. I like to be able to move and go. You need to know, especially if that's the type of person you are. You want something that's going to be able to, somebody who's going to be able to match your energy. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, come on.
Do you like to eat? Do you plan on being fine all your life? Do you plan on getting big? How many children do you want? Will you get upset if we don't have kids?
Hey, that's something that probably needs to be asked. Come on.
You plan on having an inheritance? Do you have insurance? Can you pay for your funeral?
Hey, that's a heavy question. Do you plan on having an inheritance? The scripture says you should leave an inheritance to your family.
Right. A wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Yeah. Have you thought about those type of things?
Right.
Come on.
You plan on having an inheritance. Do you have insurance? Can you pay for your funeral if you were to die?
Hey, let me tell you, that's a
today?
big one in Israel, man, because we've been telling people for years to get some sort of coverage so that, your funeral is covered, your family is taken care of, as much as you can. I know some people might not be able to get super high policies, whether it's cost prohibitive or you have health issues, but especially if you got health issues, man, you need to grab onto something. Like, you don't want to leave that burden behind. As much as possible, it's going to be hard enough that they lost you. Why add more issues to that? Why add more trouble to that, right? Okay, come on.
How do you look with your makeup? Don't put none on tomorrow and I need to see. The hair you got on your head, is that yours? Did you purchase it? If so, is it paid for?
Right.
Or are you in debt?
So those are questions, right? Let's go back to sis, and then we're gonna bring up the characteristics of difficult people, and then I want to do the masculine, feminine. Go ahead, come on.
Myself, you know what? With time, this could get better. You feel me? Because I liked him. I loved who he was. And later on, when I found out he was just a fairy tale that he created for me, because he was pretending to be what he thought I wanted in a man just so he could have me.
Stop. She said he was pretending to be what she thought she wanted in a man just so he could have her. I'm gonna hurt some feelings here. Sisters, how do I say this?
I don't know. We're anxiously waiting.
No. It's not lewd.
No. I'm not saying this. It's just.
I'm gonna say it in 2 parts. Carnally, men are wired to do that. They're going to be whatever it is they think you need them to be. They are going to probe and ask the things that you like, and even if it's that's not in them, that's what they're going to do to get you. And it may not be to get in your pants, because you could say, well, I gave it up 2 dates in, 3 dates in, and he still was like this.
Right.
Because he wanted to keep you for a season. He wanted to keep you for a season. Sometimes you wind up marrying these people, and his intention was just to have some stability. He wanted the wife at home, the cooking, the cleaning, the housekeeping, and his plan was always to still have his side things going on.
He said, beat the Doonies, and you're never gonna leave.
Never leave. Beat the Doonies, and you never leave. But don't think that brothers in this truth.
Right.
Remember, Paul said he had to keep that under his body.
Right.
Don't think that there's not men in this truth that will still resort to those things, because that's just what's in their nature, because of the way the world. That's not how we should be as godly men. But until you get to that cycle and that level that it's kids that were raised up into this and they grow into adults that were raised up into this, whoever you interact with at this stage is going to have those pollutants in them.
Right.
And in the world, men game you. Men game you.
Mm-hmm.
They know you like certain candy or chocolates. They're gonna OD and get you that stuff.
Sisters think that they got game, but they have no idea.
Yeah, they think they got game because of the feminine wiles and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
telling y'all, sister, you have no idea. Especially if the guy is like a notorious type of, just bedding women, right? And you could be somebody who beds women. It don't even mean that you good in bed. You just got game. You just got game. He knows you like flowers. He gonna bring you flowers. He knows you don't like flowers. He'll find whatever it is
That you like.
because remember what I said earlier. You're telling everything because you're excited. It's somebody new. You're talking about everything that you like. You've actually revealed to him a strategy for the battle tactics. So that's what's going on. It's like a power dynamic. If it's done unrighteously,
Right.
how am I gonna get in her pants? How am I getting her pants? And now if you're a simp brother, she might just be taking you so that she could get a few meals.
But that's how you let that Jezebel spirit sit there and run things.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
where brothers,
Yep.
like we talk about, like brothers' wives can sit there and have control over them, and they don't even think they have control over them.
And this sister went in that situation, and she says it was a fairy tale that he created based on what she wanted. And it's not even what she thought. She's saying, she still don't get it, even though she's saying something profound. She's saying what he thought I wanted.
Right.
It's what you wanted, because he even got past the whack sex. You say he wasn't all that in bed,
Right.
but you locked up with him.
Right.
So his game was superior. He don't care that you thought he was whack in bed, because he got what he wanted.
Right.
Hey, Deke, this comment say this is Wednesday Night Raw.
Nah, but you see, this really for the women too. Because I'm telling them to not be so damn dense that they don't see what's going on in front of them. I'm hitting them both. I'm hitting both sides of this thing.
Yeah.
I'm hitting both sides of this thing. Go ahead, play it.
For me, because he was pretending to be what he thought I wanted in a man just so he could have me. It really pissed me off. What disappointed me more than anything is because I was sitting there with a stranger that entire time.
Stop. That's why I said it's the stranger that you're proving. And what she's not saying is that why it pissed her off is because she realized she got gamed.
Right.
She thought he was a good man. She thought, remember, what I love about this is that she and that's why I say I know it's carnal, because we don't do that in proving in Israel that having sex before you get married.
Right.
But she looked past that, because you got a lot of these sisters out there that they, even in here, that they want to know what the D is like before they jump in bed.
Right.
But then you get a disaster in everything else, right? Sex doesn't fix problems. Sex is not the foundation of a marriage. It's what nourishes it and keeps you close. But there's other things that happen that you go, because you're not having sex all the time like that.
Right.
And then as you get older and life happens and kids come and stuff like that, it ain't going down like that.
It's like building your house upon sand or upon
That's
a rock.
exactly what it is. That's it. But the point I want to point out here is the reason she's really disappointed is because she looked past something that was clearly important to her. If not, she wouldn't have started a damn video with that.
Right.
Because she thought he was this great guy. And it turns out that he was a stranger. So you sit back and you say, what you're really mad at is yourself, that you let yourself be into that situation, that you gave yourself to somebody in that way. And you should feel like that from the whole proving process. This is why I say I know the value that I bring.
Right.
Listen, I know it was carnal, but my friends used to joke that, like, I would dodge women.
Right.
But, like, they would be like, yo, that woman was throwing herself at you. I'm like, I was very selective. They would tell me all the time, man, you could really be out there. You got a lot of options. That's the type of talk that happens.
Right.
I remember I had this ugly guy, man, and he was like, he goes, I don't have a lot of options, man, so that's why I'm shacked up with my woman and I ain't letting her go. he said, I know. He goes, I'm an ugly dude, I'm overweight. He said, but she good to me and whatever, so I'm staying where I'm at.
I'ma own it.
He said, but you got options. This dude got options. But I'm telling you, I'm trying to let you know what the psychology is of people. That's obviously not my thing now, and I'm not proud of that. Knowing what I know now, I wasn't living right. I wasn't walking right. Was I a generally good guy? I thought I was good, but You know, I was making whores out of, you know, our
daughters of
sisters.
Israel,
Right.
right.
But I'm trying to let you know the game that's out there. And don't just think because they wearing fringes and a border of blue, the game is gone. Right? The game is gone. And likewise, brothers, you're going to have these sisters out there. And I'm telling you, man, they're going to, this goes for both sides of it. Don't be so, remember, it says the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance of a man. Don't be so caught up in the looks that you're going to be jacked up in that stuff. Go ahead, come on, keep playing. Let's finish her up.
More than anything, is because I was sitting there with a stranger that entire time. I thought I knew who he was because we had an instant connection. We didn't learn to love each other. It was natural.
Stop.
On my end.
She talking about sex.
No, well, she said the sex was whack. She's
Yeah.
talking about those micro things.
Yeah.
Remember I was talking about the
Right.
stuff that happens?
Right. The attraction.
Right.
Right.
And what she was really attracted to is that maybe she was affection starved. And he was very affectionate.
He knew what to feed, what she wanted.
Right. Maybe she, her thing when she spoke, I don't know, just looking at her, she strikes me as somebody that wants you to listen to her, have maybe some stimulating conversation, you know, would like for her to be the focal point type of thing.
Right.
And maybe he gave that to her. So she felt that it was a connection, but it wasn't a connection. It was latching on like a leech, like a parasite to get some blood off of you or whatever it is that he wanted to get some nuts off, right? To make you a receptacle, and not just a receptacle that he wanted to nut. He wanted the stability of what you brought to the table. Because she sounds well-spoken. Maybe she's professional. She had a nice presence about herself compared to the easy lays that he probably got from some more hood chicks. She was a breath of fresh air. And so he modified himself to be able to be what she. My point is, you need to prove long enough to go through different scenarios to see who this person really is. And what happens is once you give in to this connection, all right, because a real connection, you're gonna really know what that feels like. Right. Once that need that you needed was fulfilled, the blinders come on. Your 6th and 7th operation goes out the window. What were you gonna say?
She says it. Go play the video and then stop. I'm gonna tell you where to stop. Go back a little. Go ahead.
I know, 1 minute video. We've been on this for like 20.
Go ahead.
It's good stuff though. It's good stuff.
It really pissed me off. What disappointed me more than anything is because I was sitting there with a stranger that entire time. I thought I knew who he was because we had an instant connection. We didn't learn to love each other. It was natural. On my end.
Stop.
Right there. On my end.
Yeah.
That's the point right there.
So
it was natural.
There's like I said, there's something she's still not putting in place, but it was natural on her end.
Yes.
But it was not really reciprocated on his.
Right.
And this is despite. That's what I'm saying. Even behavior by itself is not everything. Like what's directed at me is not nearly as important as how I see you for me to really see how you are.
Hey, Deke, this goes back into how, you brought out the point. It takes more than a year.
Yeah, it takes more than a year. Year's not enough.
Somebody can be a representative for a whole year.
We put that year out because people were getting married in 2-3 months, and it were disastrous marriages. The year has helped it a little bit. I'll tell you, a lot of people don't like to hear it. I think it should be 3.
Sister said basically 90% of brothers out there, sadly, some will pretend for years.
Yeah, they will. But so will a lot of sisters too. Let's not get it twisted. I'm talking about the men here because I got a sister talking, right? But and I wanna spread it around because I do gotta warn sisters that again, not just because they in here with fringes and a border of blue. I've said this before. We got some good brothers that are just not good husbands. Don't mean I'm not saying they're abusive and stuff. They just don't get it when it comes to that.
Right.
But come on, keep playing.
Instant connection. We didn't learn to love each other. It was natural. On my end. Because on his end, he was faking the funk the whole time. I'm not saying don't trust your gut. I'm saying sometimes your mind is playing tricks on you. Sometimes your mind will show you something about somebody that's not true. Sometimes you want them to be a good person so bad. You turn a blind eye to so many red flags because you're looking for green.
Stop.
I remember.
So she says your mind will play tricks on you. Get me? Let's go back to Sarat 17, and then I want the other one in Sarat where it says extol yourself in the counsel of your own mind.
Right. The book of Sarat, chapter 17, and verse 5. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding.
Right. So she was going by those 5 operations, and a lot of us do. Right. Come on.
And in the 7th, speech.
So he says there's understanding and there's speech, and then the way you avoid your mind playing tricks on you is, like I said, looking, and we're going to go into that next. Perfect. You got it up. Characteristics of difficult people, right? And this is just one line of it, right? I mean, you can, there's so many, there's not enough time, there's not enough shows for me to keep doing this, right? I'm not going to turn the power hour into the relationship advice.
Right.
I did for a few weeks, but I got to move on to other topics. You know what I'm saying? And just because my spirit was moving me. Now my spirit's moving me in a different direction with
grab your marbles.
We got to get on the men.
Yes, we do.
These next few weeks,
facts.
We getting on the men. All right. Read on the next verse about counsel.
Verse 6: counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand.
Why? Because the eyes and ears, outside of how they're dealing with me, I should be able to see how they're dealing with other people. I should be able to ask certain type of questions that will elicit an answer to me that's not one that I just want to hear. What you don't realize is that in those beginning stages and all that lovey talk you're having as you're getting to know each other, you've given somebody that's not in their right mind all the information they need to turn themselves into who they need to be to win you over.
So what you're saying, Deacon, if I may ask you, is you got to do the poker face at the beginning, somewhat, right? Be genuine, what have you, but don't put your cards out like that. Don't show your cards out.
Yeah, as much as we would like to say, just be yourself. Yes, be who you are. Be your authentic you. But you got to keep your guards up. You got to keep your guards up, and don't bring those guards down until you set milestones of what you need to see in that person. If you see a pattern of behavior that's beyond. So, to me, some of the best provings have been sisters or brothers that check the person they're proving when they try to get into too much of that let's play girlfriend and boyfriend.
Right.
Like, I want to know you.
Setting boundaries step by step.
You set those boundaries. Yeah, you know what? We shouldn't be talking about this or that. Let's move the conversation to this or this because I want to see how this is, right?
There's a song I be listening to all the time, but it's called "Guard Your Light," and it's kind of the same thing because we all, and it's really levels of, we got our soul, and when we, like you mentioned earlier, we were talking about at last power hour how we invest ourselves into the men that we're leading.
As leaders, you invest yourselves. Yeah, there's pieces of you in there. Yeah.
So we know that we're supposed to rule over our wives, and as you're preparing for a wife, men, we're already trying to prepare our minds to that, but we're going to be investing portions of our soul, but it's got to be bit by bit until it's like, okay, we make the commitment of marriage and taking it to that next level.
Yeah.
So you don't give them your soul all at once.
No.
Give not thy soul unto a harlot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
well, don't be hasty to credit, like we said with Prove a Friend when we started at the beginning.
Right.
And hasty to credit is, what happens is, it's not that you, it's a multiple step thing. The hasty to credit is, you say, oh, this is exactly the person that I've been looking for. And then what that does is that puts down all your sensors, puts down everything else. Blinders come up.
Right.
And now you've given of yourself. That's the credit. Where you've given of yourself portions of you that you should not have given or opened up yet.
They haven't earned it.
They haven't earned it. They haven't earned it. I'm not saying be disingenuous.
Right.
Or inauthentic. You be who you are confidently. But that takes a lot of you working on you, you know? Let's get this Sirach 6 and 2.
I got you. The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 2.
Read out.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
Right, so that's when you start having the conversation when you're like, yeah, I really don't like this and this about them, but they have all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to have things that I'm not talking about necessarily trivial stuff or whatever, but I think when you're talking about something that's forever and there's no out the way the Most High has it set up, I don't think it's too much to say. And like Deke was saying, be realistic with who you are.
Right.
Don't be unrealistic in what you have to offer and think that you're going to get something that's of a higher value than that, right? But also don't settle. That's my point. I think when you start having that internal dialogue where you're like, oh, we could work on that later. I could fix that later. Because that's what she did. Of course, it was from the sex aspect where she was like, that could get better later.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not even supposed to know about that when you're proving, right? But whatever it is, don't just put that to the side. I think something that you feel or that you're looking at, you need to
acknowledge.
And you're not going to be able to do that unless you're kind of really firm in yourself and what you really want. Don't bank on behaviors. I can guarantee you she was looking for behaviors. And this is what I mean, behaviors towards her.
Right.
Versus looking at a person's character. So he was probably romantic to her. He was sweet, wowing her, sweeping her off her feet. And those behaviors made her miss all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't go into it too much there, but she says she was so upset that she was with a stranger all the time. It's not that he became something else.
He was like
You just didn't see it because you were focused on how he was sweeping you off your feet.
the representative.
The representative.
I was thinking also in Revelation it says, "Anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see."
Yeah.
That's the same thing I'm thinking of.
Yep.
That's heavy.
Read verse 2 from the top again.
Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart.
Come on.
That thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull, strain alone.
Right. This is why we set people over you when you're in the proving process. You know, in the world it's a little tough because you got your worldly friends and maybe they just want to see you happy. So they'll tell you, oh, but yeah, you know, you said yourself that, you know, they're like this and like that. And, you know, why don't you just do it? And, you know, I mean, even guys have that conversation. I've had that conversation with some of my guy friends. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this chick. Yeah, but bro, you said she's this and this. I've never seen you this happy, blah, blah, blah. Right. And they're not even asking me the right type of questions to guide me along and things like that. So what happens if you don't, that's what he's saying. I'm not saying your feelings are wrong, but you got to be able to deal with this a little more, and less with this.
Yo,
you know,
some brothers and sisters, y'all missing the point, bro.
even though it's the same thing, but you know, we're talking about
Y'all
love,
missing
so.
the point about it doesn't matter if she had an idol in the background. It doesn't matter if she had fake hair and, bro, y'all missing the point. The point is, bro, gosh,
Those are people who can't see the forest for the trees, man.
Yo, straighten
Guess
that
what?
net.
I gotta use that because they ain't no sisters talking like that in Israel.
Y'all straighten
You're the
that
same
net.
one always with some stuff like that. Oh, she got this. Don't watch TV then.
For real, bro. Y'all straightening the net. Y'all
Don't watch television then.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people that was commenting about her hair. Like, that's not the point.
Bro, that's not the point. You looking at her hair. Are you serious?
Yeah. Y'all need to stay in the spirit.
These are the same people that if they not married, they're going to go into looking for a marriage and not going to get any type of advice out of it. Because they all worried about that. Do you sit down and watch the TV shows and the movies you watch and do that? Do you go to your job and tell someone, because some people, I don't watch TV at all. You on the damn internet, you watching something.
Right.
Do you sit down at your job and you do that too?
Just close your eyes.
Right? Come on, man. We live in a world where you're going to see stuff like that. That's so simple. That's so simple. Jeez. All right, characteristics. So let's look at some identifying characteristics. Because remember, what I said is you want to know someone's character.
Right.
And in order to do that, you need to see sustained behaviors under different stressors. Right? So I some of that's question asking, some of that's seeing how they deal with people around them. A lot of that has to do with, this is why I say it's great that it's somebody that's not new in the body and that's involved in the body. Because you're going to be able to see how they are in certain offices and things like that. You're really going to know somebody, right? And then there's some automatic red flag. I'm not saying rank is everything, but let's say you're talking to somebody of rank, right? They've been a soldier like 8 years.
Right.
Why?
Where's the growth?
Yep.
And if they start sitting there talking to you that it's because everybody's against them, big red flag.
Yep.
Big red flag. Anyway, let's look at some of the characteristics of difficult people.
They often complain.
Right. And I'm not saying that you don't have somebody that when you're becoming a friend with somebody that you don't have that type of dialogue. It's this person to lean on and say stuff. But now you need to put it into context. Are they complaining about everything?
Right.
Is it just occasionally? Well, you know, someone who's difficult is they often complain. Why? Because they can't take accountability for their actions. Right? Come on.
They put others down.
Right. So somebody who's always putting others down. Again, you're going to see a something in here that goes back to what we were talking about last night with the self-examination piece.
Right.
That this goes into what I was saying, like with the reports that brothers are telling you who they are by their answers and their things like that and stuff like that, right? They put others down. And it might not even be like they're calling somebody fat or ugly. It could just be that, again, kind of pointing the finger, saying things another way. So they put others down, right? Come on.
They are not willing to hear thoughts that conflict with their ideas.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying you can't meet somebody that you particularly agree with everything, but chances are there's going to be some things that you don't agree with. I want to have those kind of hard conversations if I'm in a proving process. I want to be able to sit there, and when I see that there's some tension or some pushback on a topic, I want to explore that more, not less, because I don't want us to fight.
Right. How are you going to resolve it?
How are you going to resolve it? How are you going to resolve all the problems that come up in marriage with children and working and everything else?
Right. When there is no way.
When I can't resolve a simple disagreement with you, right? So they don't want to do it. They don't want to hear ideas that conflict with their own. Come on.
They stay in control by putting others down.
Right. That kind of goes hand in hand with putting others down, right? So basically, again, it's everybody else's fault. Yeah. They're the ones that are wrong. Come on.
They believe their way is the best way.
Yeah. So you can see that as, maybe that comes up with you proposing an alternate thing. Let's say they're talking about how they're planning their weekend. And maybe you see an opportunity to interject in there and say, hey, or maybe you could try it like this, See how they receive that type of stuff.
Right.
Right? Because then they might flip it on you and say, oh, you're a complainer. Right? Come on.
They are argumentative.
Right. So do you find yourself kind of on the edge of that type of thing? Do you see them that they're like that with others? That it's not going to be different when it comes to you.
Right.
Come on.
They are stubborn.
Not a good quality. Not a good quality. Come on.
They act as if they know all there is about a subject.
And I don't mean the extreme end of the obvious know-it-all. Yeah. But it could be something as simple as oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah, I know. Hey, even if I didn't know, let me hear you out.
Right.
Why am I gonna
Shut everything just down.
Yeah, just shut it down. Come on.
They think of all the reasons something will not work.
Oh, gosh, that's the worst type of person. I'm telling you, a lot of people wind up in relationships with people like this.
Closed-minded.
And you don't, and because you didn't do what you needed to do in the proving process, now you're seeing it manifest in the union of marriage, right? It says that they think of all the reasons something will not work. And hey, let me tell you something. I always plan and look for the layers of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
But then I shore them up so that I can execute on them. All right? Come on.
What's the word for that? Of people that don't think things won't work all the time?
Pessimistic.
Negative people.
They may agree to things that they may not support later.
Right. So, that could be small things. That could be big things. That's a big one, and that takes a little time. It could be that they agreed to something with you because they're trying to please you based on information you gave them.
Right.
And then later you see that it's not like that. Difficult person. Come on.
They rush you to make decisions.
Putting pressure on you for those sort of things. Rushing you to make decisions. Come on.
They make you feel sorry for them to get what they want.
Oh, man.
That's been going on with the brothers.
That's a heavy one. That's been going on with the brothers.
Right.
That's been going on with the brothers, not even in the context of relationships, but with us as their guides and leaders. That's been going on. Let's go.
Right.
Read that again.
Marble.
Read it.
They make you feel sorry for them to get what they want.
Right. That's been going on with the brothers.
Waxing worse and worse.
Right. I just want to contribute, and you won't let me.
I have a grudge.
I have a grudge.
And I ain't coming to the school.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave because of you guys. That sort of stuff.
No one thinks of me.
Yeah, no one thinks of me. But let me tell you how that manifests in a relationship. All right? It says they make you feel sorry for them to get what they want. You get into an argument, and then they say, it's just that I had such a rough day. My boss wrote me up. I had a bad interaction with a customer. My sister got me pissed off. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I'm struggling here. And I'm not saying that may be the case, but you see a pattern of that.
Right.
You see a pattern of that. They're trying to make you feel sorry for them. I'm struggling over here.
Right.
Yeah. I suffer from this and I suffer from that. That sort of stuff.
You suffer? Well, don't.
Yeah. We had a brother with the incident that we dealt with here. We had him on the phone. You know, this one died last year and that one died last year, and I was just in a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Yeah, so that's why I went and did this, thus, and do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
They let you down.
Yeah, you got flaky people. And that let you down could be in a lot of different ways.
That's frustrating more than a lot of things.
Yeah. And let me tell you, this takes more than a year to
Right.
kind of go through all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, come on.
They may complain to you about someone and then go to that person and complain about you.
Oh, yeah,
Bruh,
that happens
thing
a lot.
right there is
That
vexing.
thing happens a lot. That thing happens a lot. And, you know, they usually say somebody that complains to you about others,
Right.
when you're not around, they're probably complaining about you too.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
Nothing you do is good enough. They always want more.
Right, so let's say you have a dialogue, right? Let's say you're proving. I'm gonna stick with the proving. And you have a little disagreement, right? And you come to a resolution, right? And you say, okay, right? And they say, yeah, you know, I would like to see this, and do in the behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they do those things, and then you do those things, and it's still not enough.
Right.
Right? That's what that's kind of talking about, right? Nothing you do is good enough. They always want more. Meaning, not in a good way that they want something more of
Trying
you,
to build you
that
up.
there's other things that you need to work on, right?
Right.
But it'll be like the same issue, and then it still doesn't get resolved. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you, yeah, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And then you do those things, and then it still doesn't change anything.
Right.
They're full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Go ahead.
They are quick to anger.
Quick to anger. Yeah. And again, you got to see those type of things in action. Come on.
They are often unpredictable.
That's a double-minded man. It says they're unstable in all their ways.
Right.
In all their ways. That means you'll see a pattern of things in them. Somebody who maybe changes jobs a lot, right? And I know to some extent, you know, you would, but that don't look good. You know, no job stability. I remember I used to do a lot of hiring. You know, and in retail especially, people move a lot because you get bigger pay bumps when you go to a new company, right?
Right. Yeah.
As in management, right? As a sales rep, it's usually what it is. But in management, you get bigger pay bumps when you jump around. But if you do that too frequently, it shows that you kind of got no stability, no loyalty to anything, right? You know, you know, maybe there's somebody who didn't finish school, right? And you know, you want to dig into that a little bit. Well, why? What were your challenges? Why didn't you do it? So on and so forth, right? There's things that are present
90
there, right?
seconds.
Come on, no, we're still gonna go past this. Come on.
They act like they have done nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's like no accountability again, right? And again, it's funny because you're seeing this. We're talking about this in the context of proving people, but this should probably be shared on the soldiers group here,
Right.
Because we have a lot of brothers here that are under soldiers, and they display these characteristics, right? Come on.
They may jab at you with put downs, digs, criticism,
60
and false
seconds.
rumors.
Right. So you know, it doesn't have to be a direct, aggressive insult, but that's why it says they jab at you, right?
That's indirect. They know what they're doing.
Right. No, and it might be very direct. They might say like, you know, oh, well, you know, how come you're like this? Well, it's because you're like this.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's exclusively untrue all the time, but if that's like the constant thing, then that's a problem. That's a difficult person. All right. Let's go back to the masculine and feminine, and then we can move to wrap up. I think that's the last thing I said. And again, there's still so much more that I left on the table. I did have more things I wanted to go over, some more scriptures I wanted to pull out. We're going to have to go through both of these. Well, no, go to the other one first. Sisters. Again, I want to tell you in general, and maybe this
10
isn't you, and if the
seconds.
shoe fits, wear it, okay? What women think men want in women and what men actually want in women, all right? So a lot of y'all think that, you know, especially in this truth, I think the financial stability is less true. Because a man in this truth knows that he's going to take care of you. And, you know, maybe that doesn't mean you get to stay at home per se, right? But that's not necessarily something that's attractive to him in what he's looking for, especially at the outset, right? There's things of higher value to him than you having financial stability. What he really wants is a fit body. Most men.
That's facts.
I'm telling you, most men. And I know, I get it, right? Let me just say this because people are gonna say the outliers. I know that some people might have other conditions that make it maybe a little more challenging for them to lose weight. But be realistic. Most of the people, they put up excuses for lack of discipline. And this is why, especially if you were not always that way and you kind of got that way, a lot has to happen between, I'm talking about the people that are like really obese.
Right.
A lot has to happen between where you were, because you weren't that big as a kid.
Right.
And then you wind up
It's a
that
lifestyle.
way. It's a lifestyle.
Right. And it's even like, I know women have children, right? So
Right.
their bodies go through changes after children. But that don't mean it just stays that way.
Right.
There's ways that you can sit there and continue to work on your body and your health.
Right.
And it's going to help build longevity.
Right. So yes, and then, listen, and I'm talking about fit and realistic expectations, right? We know not everybody's gonna be like, as firm, muscular as the table that's here, right? But generally fit, all right.
Confidence.
Okay.
Kindness.
Kindness outweighs confidence, all right. I would say confidence is not bad, but they're talking about the confidence that you think, like,
So you the man.
Right. No. Kindness goes a lot further, right? Come on.
Successful.
No.
Supportive.
You want somebody that's going to be supportive, right? That pillar of rest. Come on.
High earning career.
No. So listen, this is the play where I said the financial stability kind of comes into play. It's not that he wants a high earning career and financial stability. What he really wants is what?
Hard working.
He wants to know, because in Proverbs 31, let's get that real quick, where it talks about her actions.
Her works.
Right, her works. Jump straight to that part, because we're going a little over, but.
The book of Sarat, chapter 31, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
Right, meaning that if she needs to, she's able to have her own job and do her own work. Where's it talk about where she rises up early and all of that? Get me that?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Because it don't just mean hard working outside the house. It means that she's going to be hard working inside the home as well. Come on.
The book of Proverbs 31, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. No. Verse 15. She riseth also while it is yet night.
Right, because, hey, let me tell you, there's a lot of sisters, man, they just lazy. They like to lay around. They always laying down.
Right.
And I'm not saying if you're not well or whatever it is, but I don't know. I'm the type of man that I need a woman that, like I said, matches my energy. I'm not the lay around all day guy, you know? I mean, if we're chilling together or whatever, and I get it, but listen, the reality is that's just kind of moments of things. I need somebody that, like I said, is gonna match. I'm on the go. I don't like to be down and out too much.
Right.
Yeah, when I settle down in the evening, maybe I'm enthralled by a series that I'm watching, and I might check it out a little more than I normally would. But in general, I need somebody who's gonna match that type of energy, right? You need to know that within yourself and how you feeling that. Hold on one second. Let him finish reading this. Come on.
She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens.
Right, meaning she starts getting the things that she needs to get done in the house, all right? There's some of these sisters, man, they got no structure, no rhyme or reason to their methods, none of that stuff, all right? I'm just giving excerpts. Go ahead, what were you going to say, Soldier?
I was just going to say, in this truth, we don't want a sister that just want to lay up under us all day.
Right.
Like, go do something. Go
Right.
get an office. Go get a hobby.
Yep, do something, exactly. Let's go back to the screen. Come on.
High earning career, hard working,
Uh-huh.
ambitious, agreeable.
No, because what ambition, right?
That equals rebellion in my
That
mind.
equals rebellion. And it's not to say your ambition should match the ambition of your man. Like, because I don't want to get it twisted.
Right.
Because, there's some guys who are deadbeats, and they don't have that. And maybe she has ambition for more for the family. But what this is talking about is ambitious as within yourself. Independently.
Right.
It's talking about that
Independent mindset.
independent stuff. What you really want is somebody that's agreeable.
In Proverbs 31, it says she considereth the field and buyeth.
Right. That's what that goes into. That's good ambition.
Right.
Right. Because that's going to be
Provide
able to
for the family.
provide for the family.
With
Right.
the fruit of her hands.
Right. So, but what you really want is a woman that's agreeable. Come on.
Challenging, peaceful.
No, I don't want somebody that's always challenging me, always resisting me.
He can't handle me.
Right, he can't handle me. No, it's that he's choosing not to deal with your BS.
Right.
Right? We want peace at home. A loving and silent woman is a gift from the Lord, it says. Come on.
Facts. Strong, sweet.
Right. And, you want strength, but what you read, again, for time's sake, I wanted to really hit Proverbs 31 a little bit more, but you want somebody sweet, right? That kind of goes with kindness, whatever. I want the sister that's got that manly spirit in her,
Right.
Come on.
Independent, interdependent.
Right, because again, I don't want that independent woman stuff. I want her to know that together, right, man and woman cleaving to one flesh, her having her desires unto me as a man, all right, and a woman should understand this when she's proven that this is what a man is looking for. This is why it says a man, it's not that a man doesn't want to be loved, but he values respect and appreciation more than that. Because you could love me and not give me the respect and appreciation I need, and that's not going to do it for me. Above that, a man wants respect, but that interdependent is that you know where your role is, right? So like the soldier would say, not that you up under me all day, but you understand the structure like you read in 1 Corinthians 11.
Right. And you know where your true strength comes from. Just like we know that we as men, we are nothing without the Lord.
Right.
It's the same with our women got to know that they cannot do things on their own. They need their husband.
Right, exactly. All right. Let me get the masculine, feminine, and we'll wrap it up. I had shown this. I wound up rushing it again. I was supposed to spend a bunch of time on this. I wound up rushing it again. But like I said, I think I'm moving on from this topic, so we'll see. All right. So, and they spell it wrong. It says masculine. The otherness, when we go back to the book about the hard times, strong men in hard times, men and women are designed to be opposites in what we bring to the table because we're complementary to each other. I'm not looking for a masculine woman, and nor should a woman be looking for a man that's a feminine man.
Right.
And there's effeminate qualities that men have. Like, I talk about it with brothers here. It doesn't always mean that you're crying. You can get angry whenever somebody tells you something, and that's effeminate because you're so moved so easily, right? By simple things. That's effeminate as well. I think effeminate is typically seen as, kind of fairy, flamboyant.
Right.
But there's a lot more that goes to that, right? Men should be able to speak to each other as men. You should be able to receive criticism and not have offense to it. And that offense doesn't always manifest as, I want to cry. It can manifest as you being angry.
Have some marbles.
Right. Have some marbles.
You're not you without marbles.
You're not you without marbles. So let's read side by side, the masculine and feminine, so that we can look at this when we're looking at a partner, all right? Again, dealing with things that you're looking for rather than necessarily how they're treating you. Because, yes, that has some importance, but how they're treating you could make you feel so good that you forget everything else and you wind up in a bad spot, right? Go ahead, come on.
Masculine, strong, controlled, focused.
You need to see how they are in that regard.
Feminine, free-flowing, open, radiant.
Right. There's a way that a woman rolls, right? That goes into a little bit the flamboyancy. You don't want to see that in a man. In a man, right? Come on.
Masculine, powerful, centered, purpose-driven.
Hey, and even in general, outside the context of what you're looking for in a spouse, I think brothers could focus on this masculine side a lot. And see where you can shore up your masculinity. Let's save this for when we go into the man show, because I think we can double use this,
right?
So that you can see the type of the behavior. So powerful, centered, purpose-driven. Come on.
Feminine, wild, destructive, emotion-driven.
See that? Emotion-driven. It didn't say sad, just emotion-driven. We got a lot of them. That's why I go into the yellow makes me sad, the yellow Power Rangers, right? They think they're powerful, centered, and purpose-driven, but they're actually wild, destructive, and emotionally driven, right? Come on.
Masculine, loves a challenge, competition. Feminine, seeks and gives love, nurturing.
So, see, that's what a man wants.
Right.
He wants the characteristics of a nurturer in a woman, right? Come on.
Masculine, single task oriented, problem solver.
It doesn't mean that he can't multitask, but this goes into that centered and purpose-driven that a man is. When a man's focused on something, he's going to be very driven in that, right? And a man wants to solve problems. That's why when you're always questioning him, and I'm not saying like if he's detrimental, he about to make you homeless and stuff like that. You speak up. That's when counsel and everything else comes into play, all right? But, a man is driven by looking at a situation and being able to solve it. That's a masculine trait.
Right.
I mean, we got some males with us that don't do that, right? But go ahead, come on.
Feminine, multitasker, diffused awareness.
Why? Because she has to run the household, like we read in Proverbs 31. She needs to be able to move around and do this. The job of a woman is to multitask. She has to care for you, eventually the children, her job if it needs to be, whatever responsibility she got in the body,
right?
Herself.
I was gonna point out too, by the man fulfilling that masculine, single task oriented problem solver, that's a hyper focus. With her being a multitasker, multiple little tasks, she has a diffused awareness, but in their right roles, that diffused awareness is okay because the masculine traits of the man has the hyper focus of awareness.
Right, exactly. Come on, next.
Masculine wants freedom and release. Feminine wants to fill up, gather, talk, vent.
Right, so what that means is he doesn't want you questioning his every move. And I don't mean if he's being suspicious and stuff like that.
Right.
Because we got a situation here, again, with this brother, and I'm learning situations now that, like, you know, he was going to do, like, some weird stuff at odd times. And he's like, yeah, the wife's like, I didn't question him because, you know, we're not supposed to question the men.
Ruby?
Yeah. You know, it's warranted questioning.
Right.
Is what I'm talking about. Because then you got some of these sisters that's bugged out, right? But he's saying, you know, wants freedom and release, meaning when he's feeling a certain way, like, you know.
Give me some space.
Right.
Right. Let me think through. Let me.
Right. And the women, right, they want to fill up, they gather, they want to talk, and they want to vent.
Right.
Women always want to vent. And that's fine, men, you got to understand that, you know. Just, there's a time and a place for it, right? Come on.
Masculine makes big things small, forgets. Feminine makes small things big, remembers.
Right, women have the most uncanny memory for, like, the simplest stuff.
Facts, and man,
It'll be some trivial thing that they'll remember. So when it says he makes big things small, yeah, sometimes, man, maybe, you know, maybe it's a big deal for you, and I didn't treat it with, you know, with the consideration
that you would have liked to see.
That you would have liked to see, you know. But I'm so quick to forgive that I'm going to forget it and I'm going to move on, like as if it's something to me. But women like to make small things big, and they remember all those things, right? Come on.
Masculine needs admiration and appreciation.
I mean, and women do too, but more specifically, this goes into that respect and appreciation. That's what really the admiration means. Well, that's the reverence that the Bible speaks of in Ephesians 5. Like I said, I'm rushing through it. I wanted to spend time on this.
Her,
Go ahead, come
her
on.
desire being to her husband, too.
Yes. Come on.
Feminine needs reassurance and attention.
Right. So, brothers, you know, we say you got to be able to understand, like, if you're going to get a wife, that possession, you got to spend some attention to it, right?
Honor to the weaker vessel.
Honor to the weaker vessel. And she needs reassurance. She wants to know she's doing a good job and all that stuff like that. And I'm not saying that these are all necessarily mutually exclusive, but for the most part, these are where they skew towards, right? Come on.
Masculine wants to be needed and respected. Feminine wants trust, connection, praise.
Right. Like, you know, a man wants to do the things that are manly. Like, you know, don't try to take his responsibilities away from him.
Right.
You got some women that try to roll in that regard, right? And it says a woman wants trust, connection, and praise, right? We get it, all right? Come on.
Masculine, intimacy killer, being criticized, controlled, or shut out.
Right. It's, you know, I'm not going to be able to rock with you if you're criticizing me, you're trying to control me, or you shut me out. Like, you know, what's wrong? Nothing.
That's the part that bro, the biggest thing. You know there's something wrong,
What's
but you
wrong?
over there,
Nothing.
nothing.
Go ahead, come on.
Feminine, intimacy killer, feeling unseen, unsafe, or misunderstood.
Right, so you want to keep the intimacy flowing, right? Make sure that you're aware of her, you're aware of what she does, you know, the contributions, even though they're required, right? She wants to see those things, right? She wants to feel safe. And that don't mean just I can protect her with my muscles, but don't be the brother that's gambling away money, making poor money decisions. You're always broke. You're always behind on bills, that sort of stuff. That's going to make her feel unsafe, right? Or misunderstood. And I get it, right? This goes back to them wanting to be able to connect, talk, vent, all that stuff like that, you know.
And it goes with Wisdom of Solomon said, wisdom's an understanding spirit. So if we moving in the right spirit anyway, I mean, we'll give off that impression.
Yep, exactly. Anyway, I did it again. I went through it too fast. I had scriptures for a lot of this, and I couldn't do it. But like I said, I don't think I'm coming back to this, at least not anytime soon. We spent a lot of weeks on this.
We got our dose.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still so much stuff that I didn't bring out. I was even talking about stuff that I might have tried to post during the show, but it went how it needed to go. So I'm going to leave it at that.
If they got it, they got it.
If you got it, you got it.
Hey,
I pray people apply.
Next week, we got the plus. We got some new stuff that's going to...
Those will we got some new stuff. We'll see.
We were
We'll see
talking
how it goes.
about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to go. Anyway, y'all be safe out there. Stay in the spirit. All right. Check us out on Facebook on Saturdays. Is it Spanish this week? You guys did English last week, no? 11 a.m. Arizona time. All right. Lord's will be on next week. It's daylight savings, right? 7 a.m. Arizona time. So I know it'll be later in the East Coast. I think Sunday's like daylight savings.
Everybody else changes. We're the
we
only
don't
normal
change.
ones.
Remember, they're gonna keep it at the same.
I think this might be the last time they do it. Oh, I don't know if they dropped it.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah. I'm disappointed that I didn't get to go in it the way I wanted to. But like I said, I feel like I'm done.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm done. I think we good. Anyway, go without the socials that you see on the bottom there, all right? Especially the YouTube. We're so close to our 15K.
Where are we at? I haven't checked.
14.8 something. I don't know. We're at 14.9 now.
14.9.
14.9.
Tell your mama and them.
Man. So what, we 100 away?
100 away.
We 100 likes away from 15,000 subscribers. 100 subscribers away from 15,000 subscribers on the Phoenix page.
Less than 100.
Less than 100?
Mm-hmm.
68.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you taking too long.
Yeah.
We close. Can you go over and like and subscribe to the IUIC Phoenix YouTube page? All right. So all we need is 68 people to subscribe, and we'll hit our 15K. All right. And guess when that happens? We'll be happy, and then we're moving on to 20.
Yes,
sir. Moving on to 20. All right. Hey, all praise. Oh, someone said, when can we see you on a new moon class? I did one in December, I think. I did one in December. You know what it is? It's the time difference out here. So I can't really get my IT team here at the time that I would need to broadcast on the East Coast. So it's sparingly that I do like the new moon classes. Just because of the time difference. I'd probably jump in more.
We had a plan on that one. We were like, yo, I remember you called us, hey, can y'all be here? Can y'all come to this time?
Yeah. I had pushed it, and it was only a 2-hour difference, so I said 6, I think. And
we had to be here, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rush, and we made it work out that way. But, that's why I don't really jump on the new moon classes like that. It's just a time difference thing here in Arizona. So
Lord's Will Sabbath class soon.
Oh, Evil is called. The show on Paramount Plus is Evil. That's if you're into that genre. I think it's cool. I'm not saying it's
what is the genre?
I'm not saying it's not riveting. It's like supernatural, whatever. That's the one I was telling you that it's the scientist, the spiritual. I don't know. I know it might seem campy or whatever. I think it's thought provoking for me, some things, because they use like real world situations. So, but that's just me. Maybe you see it and it's just. I mean, I think it's interesting. It has good reviews. It's a popular show. So I think they got 2 or 3 seasons out. It has Luke Cage in it.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw the cast.
Yeah.
I was looking at the cast.
I forgot his name.
He's the pastor. He's the priest.
He's the priest. He's the priest. Yeah. Yep. All right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah.
Hey, one nation, one nation.
This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza.
We one nation, one nation.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah.
Hey, one nation, one nation.
This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza.
We one nation, one nation.
It wouldn't be Israel without Mexicans. Black love, brown pride, cause we next to kin. We ain't gotta tell Esau to let's be friends, cause we above all nations and we better than them. We the salt of the earth, ayy, ayy. And we been king since birth, ayy, ayy. We put the kingdom first, ayy, ayy. And they gon' get this work, ayy, ayy. We was chosen, not cause we the most of the people. Few in numbers, but we over the people. We gods of this earth, we ain't supposed to be equal. Stop playing, you emotional people. The good gotta triumph over the evil. So my foot's on the throat of the eagle. Their tongues will confess that we the people. Cause my nation ain't never been feeble. For the Southern King.